Welcome back to Last Stop Sports Talk. Today is Tuesday, May 12th, 2026, and here on episode 117, I'm with Kean Crop and Carson Crop. I'm Cody Crop. Today we're going to be starting our draft grades episode, going over the 2026 NFL draft team by team, saying what we think about them, and giving our quick little synopsis and draft grades. We're going to be starting off with the AFC this week, going through all 16 AFC teams. We're going to start off by diving in to the AFC North Division, starting it off with the Baltimore Ravens. Round 1, they picked guard Vega Ioane. Round 2, edge Zion Young. Round 3, wide receiver Jacoby Lane. Round 4, wide receiver Elijah Surratt and tight end Matthew Hibner. Round 5, corner Chandler Rivers and tight end Josh Cuevas and running back Adam Randall. Round 6, punter Ryan Eckley. Round 7, D-tackle Rayshawn Benny and guard Evan Biernston. And a notable UDFA that they picked up was quarterback Diego Pavia.
Yeah, so starting off with their first-round pick, Vega Ioane out of Penn State. This guy, I think, is going to be great for the team. So they bring him in. He's going to start at left guard right away. He addresses the issue they had losing both their center, Tyler Linderbaum, and a guard, Daniel Falele, in free agency. So right away addressing that, and then I think he's going to be great for this run game, especially because Penn State's run game was great all season, and then he was a big part of that. So I think coming into this run-first offense of the Ravens is going to be great, but he also has the versatility to be an anchor and even be a pulling guard, and then also work in the pass game as well for Lamar. So I think this is a great addition for the Ravens.
Absolutely. Fills pretty much every spot that they needed, just like you said. I think it's great. I think he's going to be awesome, and it's just going to I think it's going to really benefit Lamar, really, because it seems like they want to – I guess I don't know what new coaching is going to do this year, but it seems like they were wanting Lamar to kind of thrive more in a smaller area instead of just saying, all right, Lamar, let's just run it, which he was doing really well at, so I think this will only help. And, of course, the run game, too. Derrick Henry was already incredible. This is only going to help him and anyone else behind him.
Yeah, you guys said it. It's pretty plain and simple here. Yeah. He's going to be great. I think that he is the best guard in this class, and he perfectly fills a need. And it was pretty funny watching this pick live in Pittsburgh because a lot of Steelers fans really wanted Ioane. And they made some sounds of anger on top of the boos they were already giving the Ravens whenever they made this pick. So that was pretty funny. Round 2, Zion Young. He was an edge that I wasn't as high on. I am glad he didn't go round 1. I saw some mocks that had him going round 1 because I don't think he's a good athlete. He's got strength, and I think that's about it. And me and Carson really see him differently, but I think he's more of a project than other analysts think. So,
yeah, I think that Zion Young is addressing another need for them, which came when Max Crosby deal fell through. So they have Trey Henderson on one side and now Zion Young on the other. I think they will complement themselves well because, like Kean said, he is strong and this guy's a bulldozer and he can help out in the run game, pass game. You name it, help. So I love this pick personally just because of that power and working in that hard-nosed AFC North. I think he's going to fit in well. Jacoby Lane, this is addressing probably, I'd say, the Ravens' last biggest concern that they really have this season because Rashad Bateman and Devontae Walker on the outside is really not cutting it. So I don't like Jacoby Lane as much as drafting in the 3rd round, but we'll move on to their better pick later.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't like it too much in round 3, but I do think they did a good job addressing that offensive position that they needed, or offensive weapon position that they needed, which was clearly wide receiver. They needed some people to shake it up, and they did just that with these 2 wide receiver picks we're going to get into.
Wide receivers Lane and Elijah Surratt, going right into him. I had both these guys at wide receiver 13 and wide receiver 4, respectively. Lane comes in as a bigger-bodied, vertical threat wide receiver who I think has the potential to develop into more of a route runner, but he's kind of raw at this point. And then Surratt is somebody we all loved. He's maybe the most underrated player in this class, in my opinion. So savvy as a route runner and just knows how to get open or make tough catches through contact if he needs to. I think this guy can be really good in the NFL, and I am so freaking bummed that he went to one of the most run-heavy offenses in the NFL. That really pissed me off because I wanted a Surratt jersey so bad because I love the guy, but he's here.
Yeah, on the bright side, he does have a clear path to play time because, especially Devontae Walker, he just hasn't been.
Yeah.
He hasn't been capable of what the Ravens want out of him. But Elijah Surratt should make Lamar more of a pocket passer, or more capable to be. Mm-hmm. Hopefully he's used like that. The round 4 pick, Matthew Hibner out of SMU, Kian.
Yeah, so Matthew Hibner, it is just, I want to talk about Hibner and Josh Cuevas together, and then I'll throw it back to you guys, because you guys, I know, did watch Cuevas. Hibner's a guy that we did not watch because he was not highly rated. But it is interesting, and I want to get your guys' take on this, how GM Eric DaCosta loves to draft 2 tight ends. Yeah. Hayden Hurst and Mark Andrews in 2018.
Yep.
Charlie Kohler and Isaiah Likely in 2022. Now Matthew Hibner and Josh Cuevas in 2026. In 2018 and 2022, they had 1 tight end flash. Being Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, and the other became just a role player. So Hibner, he's a great athlete at the combine who ran a 4.57 40-yard dash, vertical jump of 37 inches, and put up 28 bench press reps at 6'4.5", 251 pounds. In the game, he's vertical seam stretcher who uses his speed to more so try to run away from contact than toward it. And Cuevas, he's a versatile tight end who has been used as such throughout his college career. 38.7% of his snaps in line as a tight end, 48.1 in the slot, 11% out wide at 6'3", 245. He's more of a rumbling mover who keeps his legs churning more than he is like a freak athlete, and he's at his best in the short area where he can get yak opportunities to get rolling like a rock downhill.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about Cuevas too because I'm obsessed with this guy. He's a my guy, even though I have him at tight end 8. I just love his creativity after the catch. Like Ian said, he's versatile. He's a great blocker. So I think even if he doesn't work out as a pass catcher behind Mark Andrews, I think that he's still going to have a role in this creative way. And throughout our scouting season, I said that if he doesn't make it as a tight end in the league, he can make it as a fullback. And boys, this has to be the best possible landing spot for him. One of the Ravens' biggest losses in the offseason, Patrick Ricard, all-pro, Pro Bowler. And I think Josh Cuevas can fill that role amazingly. I would be so happy if that happens.
I hope so, man.
Round 5, they also took Adam Randall, who's a running back out of Clemson. This guy, he's a bigger-bodied running back, but he's really excelled in the run game or the pass game because he's a former wide receiver convert to running back. So I think that he could pair up well with Derrick Henry. Both big bodies, but Adam Randall can be that pass catcher in this offense. But I don't know how it's going to fit with Justice Hill because he has that same role as well.
Yeah, if they drafted Randall as more of a long-term backup running back option to Derrick Henry, I think there were many more better options in their draft, especially in this class, still available in the 5th round. Randall was my running back 15, wasn't super high on him. And then finally we'll touch on the notable UDFA because there was a lot of talk about him all weekend. I think Diego Pavia could be a really good backup for Lamar Jackson in this offense. This offense would utilize what he's best at, running the ball like a dog.
So, yeah, I agree. He's Tyler Huntley's still there. Yeah. They just brought in Skylar Thompson, but I think Diego Pavia, they signed him to like 3 years or something.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty
insane.
That's a standard UDFA deal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Get right into the grades. I'm pretty torn over this grade because I think they got great value on some players I like, and they drafted some players I'm not as high on. I settled on a B+. Yeah.
Cody?
I was thinking B+ too. Like, I think they made a lot of really good moves here that I feel good about looking at it for them. I feel bad about as not a fan of the team. But I like a lot of these picks here. I think they really filled some spots and added some much-needed depth.
I'm going straight A. I love Vega U on A. I think that fills an immediate need, makes this offensive line better. I love Zion Young, as you guys know, and then Elijah Stratt in the 4th round is a steal.
You're right.
Oh, I also was slightly lower on this class because they didn't make a big splash center draft pick to help replace Tyler Linderbaum, and now they're there's questions there now.
Yeah, for sure, no doubt. Moving to the Cincinnati Bengals, in round 2 they picked edge Cassius Howe. Round 3, corner Takario Davis. Round 4, center Connor Liu and wide receiver Colby Young. In round 6, they picked center Brian Parker II. Round 7, they picked tight end Jack Endries and defensive tackle Landon Robinson.
Cassius Howe in the 2nd round is pretty much just replacing Trey Hendrickson. They need a pass rush. They bring in Boy Mafe. They bring in Jonathan Allen. They bring in Dexter Lawrence, but they still need a speed guy on the edge, and Cassius Howe brings that to the table. Now, I'd say I was middle of the pack on Cassius Howe. I think this is a little high, but edges were flying off the board here in the late 1st and the early 2nd. So to get him here, I think it's just what you got to do, really.
Yeah, I agree. I like this Cassius Howe pick for the Bengals. I think it's one of the better options they could have went with here for a replacement for a Trey Hendrickson. He's very fast, very agile, like really fluid hips to bend and get around and get to the quarterback without losing his speed. So I think really this is one of the more he's not a project, but I think he could just grow. He fills the immediate need and can only go up and get better and possibly be one of the greats.
Yeah, he's an outlier with his arms being the shortest
Yeah.
on an edge that we have ever seen at the combine at 30.25-inch arms, but he does bring some serious quickness and maneuverability off the edge to add to a solid edge rotation actually post Trey Hendrickson era in Cincinnati. They have Boye Mafe now.
Mm-hmm.
Miles Murphy was the first round pick from a few years ago, still kind of finding his footing. Same with Shamar Stewart finding his footing, and then Cassius Howell. I just like how they have now diversified that room that has just like different body types to really attack the quarterback. Takario Davis is an intriguing cornerback who combines crazy length with straight line speed. I just don't know if his lateral agility and lack of short area quickness will fail him in the NFL. He definitely needs to be kept out of the slot and away from any quicker, shiftier receivers because he has more long speed than he has quickness for sure.
Connor Lew, even though he's a my guy for Key and I, and we have him as the best center in the class, he's a Band-Aid on a bullet hole of this offensive line.
Yeah.
I think once he gets back from his ACL tear injury, he will be ready to start right away, and he's excellent in the run game. He's so good at advancing to the second level and taking away a linebacker for a big play. But like I said, it's kind of to wait until the fourth round to draft offensive line when your franchise quarterback keeps getting hurt again and again and again because you aren't protecting him. It's a little insane, but I'd like the pick here nonetheless.
Yeah, I like Connor Lew also, but I completely agree with what you said. I think it's a good pick, and I think it will be a good pick for the future, but I wish that they would have added more through their draft, probably earlier, to help that line out, because Carson's completely right about Joe Burrow just getting hammered every game.
Yeah, story
not in a
of
good
his
way.
career. Yeah, not in a good way, no. Maybe he needs to get hammered pregame.
Yeah. More fluid.
Yes.
Yeah, his body movements.
Connor Lew is my guy for both me and Carson. He's hopefully going to take over the starting center position after 2026. That's whenever Ted Karras' contract runs out. He's just so smart. Always keeps his head on a swivel, and he's really solid all around. He most likely fell to the fourth because he tore his ACL in October. So I think it is great value that they got him here. And then this wide receiver pick. So we watched, evaluated, and ranked every wide receiver ranked in the consensus top 300. That's 38 wide receivers.
Yeah.
And Colby Young was not one of those guys. And they drafted him in the fourth. He's just a 6'5", 218-pound wide receiver, so a big guy. But he's never had more than 574 receiving yards in a season. It feels a lot like Isaac TeSlaa last year. I like his flashes, and he fights after the catch by powering into tacklers with his size and speed. But why didn't he earn many targets at Miami or Georgia, either of his two stops? That's a big question mark as to why. That's why he wasn't drafted or ranked in the top 300 on the consensus board. So There's questions there.
Jack Endries is a tight end that none of us really liked.
Yeah.
But he was taken in the 7th round, so you got to give him that. This is just, I think it's a depth piece. They already have Drew Sample, Mike Gesicki. They drafted Eric All, who's been hurt. So it's just a huge, sure-handed tight end that I think is just going to fill a role.
Yeah, depth piece.
And Brian Parker II is great value with a nice anchor in the 6th for an O-line that, as we talked about, they need to have solid depth so they can keep Joe Burrow upright and healthy. So right into the grades, I think it seems like they addressed a lot of their needs with their highest picks, but I feel like there were some better players that were still on the board at the time, so I gave him a B.
Solid. Yeah, for me, Cassius Howell kind of carries it because I was a fan of Cassius Howell. I just gave them a middle-of-the-road C because I like the Cassius Howell pick, not super fired up about the following picks. Like I said, I wanted them to do a little more lineman-focused type of picks, offensive lineman-focused type of picks. But, yeah, I'd say middle-of-the-road C.
I'm going C+. I think that, like I said, with Dexter Lawrence being their first-round pick, pretty much they wasted they used their first, second, and third pick on something that's not protecting their franchise quarterback. And Joe Burrow showed if he has time to throw and he has anybody on defense to get a little stop, then he can win games just in a shootout. But he can't win games on the sideline. You got to protect the guy. C+, and that's generous just because I love Connor Lew, and Cassius Howell's pretty good too.
Yeah. Cleveland Browns in round 1, they picked offensive tackle Spencer Fano and wide receiver Casey Concepcion. In round 2, they picked wide receiver Denzel Boston and safety Emmanuel McNeil Warren. In round 3, offensive tackle Austin Barber. Round 5, they picked center Parker Brailsford and linebacker Justin Jefferson. The linebacker, obviously, not the wide receiver. And they also picked up drafted tight end Joe Royer. In round 6, quarterback Taylon Green. Round 7, tight end Carson Ryan. And a notable UDFA they picked up was wide receiver Aaron Anderson.
So the Browns lost a lot of their offensive line, even if they weren't great pieces. Jack Conklin, Cornelius Lucas, Cam Robinson, Joel Bitonio, Wyatt Teller.
Yeah.
Lots of offensive line loss, and they addressed a lot of that in free agency. But something they didn't address in free agency is that left tackle spot where I think Spencer Fano is going to slide right into. I think he's going to be great there. If he doesn't work out tackle for whatever reason, I think he's more than capable, and he's willing, he said, to slide into guard. So I think this is a very safe pick at number 9 that I don't hate, even though I like other linemen better.
I agree with you. I really like the Spencer Fano pick. I think they could do no wrong picking him there, obviously. With all those pieces being lost, whenever you name them off like that, it makes it sound even worse when they're back to back to back. It's like, oh, boy. But they did bring in some pieces. I think Spencer Fano on the left tackle position will be a great starting piece there for him.
Yeah, I'm a bit lower than consensus on Fano. I think his 32 and an eighth inch arms do limit his ability to be able to get into the pads of the quicker edges, so he has to rely on his quickness to kick slide like the wind, baby. I actually like him better at one of the interior O-line positions, but I think he does still deserve a chance at offensive tackle because he is so freaky athletic. Love Casey Concepcion. His route running and quick feet. My comp for him was Zay Flowers, a type of wide receiver that they need on this team. I was, again, bummed he went to a team with an uncertain quarterback situation, uncertain passing game situation.
I'm a little lower on Concepcion versus you guys, but I still don't think that this is a bad pick by any means. I think that adding anyone to that room, any type of weapon like Concepcion is to help out the uncertain quarterback position, I think it'll be a big benefit.
Yeah, Casey Concepcion is my guy for Key and I. Like he said, we love the guy, and I think he will help that unstable quarterback situation as a true super fast separator. And then 15 picks later, they take another receiver, Denzel Boston, which is a guy that Cody really loves.
Yeah.
Good math.
Yeah, hey, thank you. This guy is more of your big body, throw it down the field to him, out muscle guy. So I like how they really versatized.
It sounded right, but I don't think it's versatilized.
How they really how they really diversified their receiver room here. They get the big body in Denzel Boston, separator in Casey Concepcion, and then somewhere in between Jerry Jeudy. So I love what they did with these two picks. But Cody will tell you more about Denzel Boston, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Denzel Boston. He's my guy for me this year. But, of course, that's no surprise to these guys. I mean, big body wide receiver that does big things.
Hate him.
Yeah. So, yeah, I completely agree with Carson. I think this combo that they drafted, I think will be very good, and it was a very actually smart move by the Browns. I know. I said it.
That's crazy.
Whoa.
I said it. I think this was a smart move. I think this just does good things for each receiver there and Jerry Jeudy. I mean, this is great. I think they really diversified their wide receiver room very well, and this will be a good balance. Yes. I think so. I love Denzel Boston for the down the field threat, big body, draw the coverage, make massive plays type of receiver, and then Jerry Jeudy can just eat underneath everything that's getting drawn to the other guys.
Yeah, in all seriousness, I don't hate Denzel Boston. I still like this pick too, even with Concepcion on this team. He's a different kind of large vertical threat wide receiver that they could use. It keeps Cedric Tillman out of the starting lineup, which I think is a plus.
Boom. Yes.
And if the quarterback is Shadur, he loves to chuck up 50-50 balls that turn into like 70-30 with Denzel Boston. So I'm fine with this pick. They're different kinds of receivers. I like it. Emmanuel McNeil Warren, great value at number 58 whenever many analysts were mocking him in the first round. There's not a huge need on paper with Grant Delpit and Ronnie Hickman at the safety position on this Browns team, but I really think it's a great fit because they don't have a lockdown starter at the slot corner position. Delpit has experience in the slot. Hickman is best at free safety, and I like EMW best in the box. So I think there is a spot. This is a situation where you just draft the best players, figure out where you'll play them later, and I think it's going to work.
Yeah, I agree with you. I was a fan of McNeil Warren coming out, and I think you said it well. I think that he's going to fill any voids that they could possibly have there, and I just think he's a very solid, super athletic addition.
Austin Barber is an offensive tackle they took in the 3rd round out of Florida, and I think this is mostly a depth pick. I don't see anywhere on the offensive line that you could really start right now. Maybe they can move him to guard, keep him at tackle, let him learn a little bit, but teams in the NFL, especially the Browns, you can never have enough offensive line depth, so I think Austin Barber is going to be good for that.
Yeah, I wasn't super high on Barber. He was my offensive lineman 23. I think they got to keep him at tackle. He just is a very lean build. He is a very fluid mover with he can get reachy, though. He's got good lateral movement, but it's like he doesn't trust it. He just needs development, and luckily they did bring in a lot of pieces over the offseason. And another one of the pieces as depth is Parker Brailsford from Alabama. He's a feisty center with aggressive and mean hands that shove, punch, and rip at defensive tackles. He tries his best to make up for the fact that he's undersized. He's only 6'2", 289 pounds, and 32-inch arms. Under 290 is crazy for an offensive lineman. Mm-hmm. He's just some young depth to add to this completely rebuilt offensive line. And then Justin Jefferson, Jay Jettas, baby. He's a lanky linebacker, 6'1.5". 223 pounds, 31 3/4-inch arms. This guy can roam the middle of the field and read the quarterback's eyes to make plays on the football in the air. He lacks the strength and power to be successful around the line of scrimmage, but after JOK's announcement that he might not ever play football again with his injury, his neck injury, the linebacker room is down to Carson Schwesinger, new free agent addition Quincy Williams, and now just Jefferson. So Jefferson could see some playtime this year.
For sure.
Joe Royer is a guy that I'm kind of surprised they brought in. It doesn't really complement Harold Fannin very well, as Joe Royer is also a yak guy. Get the ball in his hands, he can make a move and get upfield. So I'm really curious how they're going to use him. It's not like you can really use him that well in 12 personnel unless you're passing out of it, because I don't think either of them are great blockers. But we'll see if they can be creative with him, I guess.
I think it's just more so Fannin insurance. Because you're right. The yak for Joe Royer is his best part of his game, as the same thing as Fannin. So, I mean, it's just adding another intriguing mismatch weapon, I think.
Yep.
We got to mention Taylor Green, though, because he's likely a long shot to be the franchise quarterback of the Browns, but why not take a shot on the most athletic quarterback to ever work out at the Combine?
Yeah.
More so, like significantly more so than Anthony Richardson, which is crazy. Like, he crushed his vertical jump record by, 3.5 inches. I need to take that jersey down.
At least lower it down 3.5 inches.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind taking Taylor Green, especially whenever your quarterback room is as up in the air as the Browns is.
The Browns taking another quarterback is like us taking a breath.
Yeah,
that was
just
easy.
adding him on top of
In and out.
in and out. Yeah, it's just add it to that long list, that jersey, the custom Browns jersey.
That's
just name.
Well, he's got to get a start first.
Yes, that's true.
You're right. Yeah.
Does it count if he gets a start or receiver?
Probably. I'd say yes.
They announced him these are
draft him as a quarterback.
They drafted him as a quarterback. So
I mean, why not?
If he starts, he starts.
Sure. On to the grades, boys.
Yeah, grades.
I gave him an A.
Wow.
I love this Browns draft. I think they brought in a ton of starters here and depth too. Maybe not a ton of starters, but a lot of starters that I would say are very good value where they drafted them. Their first 4 picks, fantastic. Fantastic picks. I don't know if you can do any better. So A, and I just couldn't get him an A plus because I only like to give out 1 A plus per year, and I just don't think they were quite my favorite draft class. We'll get to it.
Sure. A minus. I really did love a lot of their picks. Spencer Fafano was my favorite offensive lineman this year coming out. I think he's great. He's going to do awesome. I talked about the wide receiver combo, and I like McNeil Warren too. I think they did a lot of good here and really focused on what they needed, which was offensive pieces. Their defense was obviously already incredible. So yeah, A minus.
I'm going with another straight A. I don't love Spencer Fafano, but I love him for this team. Love Conception. Like Kian said, I don't love Boston, but I love him for the team. Not a huge fan of Emmanuel McNeil Warren, but considering they're starting Ronnie Hickman at safety right now and Miles Harden at nickel, I think that he's going to be excellent on this team, and then just all the other depth pieces and high ceiling shots. I love it. So this is an A.
Pittsburgh Steelers, round 1, they picked offensive tackle Max Ionacher. Round 2, wide receiver Jeremy, according to him.
Yeah.
Jeremy Bernard. Round 3, quarterback Drew Aller and corner Dalen Everett and guard Jennings the Mullet Dunker.
Ooh.
Round 4, wide receiver Caden Weegan. Round 5, tight end Riley Nowakowski. Round 6, defensive end Gabe Rubio. Round 7, safety Robert Spears Jennings and running back Eli Heidenreich.
So I think that all Steelers fans and the organization probably wanted Vega Ioane with their first-round pick. But instead, we get my guy, Max Ionacher, and I am actually thrilled about this because this means we can get Broderick Jones' ass out of town.
Out of town.
Finally get a guy that can play tackle. He's got the feet to do it. He's got the hands to do it. This guy's a basketball player. He can be athletic out there.
Was.
And yeah, literally was. And this is going to be great for the AFC North pass rush. So I think nothing better to do than draft the tackle to protect whoever your quarterback is. Love this first-round pick.
I do too. Even if they say this is their guy, I agree with you. I think they wanted Vega Ioane, but this is a good...
And Mekhi Lemon, actually.
Yeah, and Mekhi Lemon. So I think this was a good rebound, even if it wasn't, but rebound. I liked Max Ionacher a lot. Like Carson said, ex-basketball player, so his feet are there, and he can actually move his feet, unlike some other people that played tackle in Pittsburgh.
BJ.
Yeah.
That's all he'll be doing. That's all he'll be doing now.
Yeah.
Giving BJs.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, Max Ionacher, he's basically all that you'd want in an offensive tackle when you look at the guy. I mean, he's tall, he's got long arms, he's just lean, and he's fast, good feet. So a lot of good going for him. I think if we can develop him a little bit, he's already going to be a great starter. So I think that's great for them and just has a lot going for him and should be very exciting to watch and be a huge help at that tackle spot.
Yes, I've been telling our friends that I was waiting to get a Steelers jersey until they actually drafted a player that they like or that I love, and I love Max Ionacher.
All right.
You guys said it. I mean,
Yeah.
the twitchy movements, great size. Yes, the casual fan is going to look at it. He's only played football for 5 years in his life, but like, oh, damn, if you just actually grind the film, the dude is insane. The dude moves unlike many other 320-plus pound players. And yeah, the big plus is that Broderick Jones is hopefully out of town. Jeremy Bernard, one of the most underrated players in this class, I would say. This guy can line up anywhere, including the backfield. He looks for yak, and he can get open with some smoothness and efficiency in his routes. He was my number 33 player in the class, and they got him at number 47. And anybody who says they would rather have Mekhi Lemon in a second-round tackle is just dead wrong. This was a crazy steal by the Steelers. Maybe unintentionally, but to get Ionacher and then Jeremy Bernard, fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. Great combo there. And Jeremy Bernard, just like you said, I don't have much more to add. You're right. He's going to be an absolute weapon underneath and just a yak guy that any quarterback can close their eyes and just throw it into the middle, and Jeremy Bernard's going to catch it and just make something magic happen after the catch. So yeah, I think it was a great pick. I'm a huge fan of it, and I like their little combo they did here with their first 2 picks.
I agree. I love Mekhi Lemon, but I think this combo's probably even better. Jeremy Bernard's just so smooth and versatile. And someone that is not smooth nor versatile.
Oh boy.
Here's a third-round pick, baby. Drew Aller out of Penn State. He was my quarterback 12, and I think that I don't even like him that much. This guy is pretty much... I mean, I'm trying to sugarcoat this. He's a bonehead. And I said he's Joe Flacco with the brain of Anthony Richardson. No. Terrible under pressure, terrible decision maker, made Penn State receivers insignificant. And I honestly don't know what we're doing here. Mike McCarthy can develop quarterbacks, but Drew Aller tried to be developed all throughout college, and he somehow got worse. And I'll get off the guy now because I'm sure Keen has some nice stuff to say.
Yeah, I'll right the ship a little bit, starting it for Keen here.
Warm it up for me.
Yeah, he's not so bad, okay? He's big-bodied, huge arm, and does make some very impressive throws. Now, I will agree with what you said, but only whenever he not only. Most of the time, that only happens whenever he gets under pressure, and that is the big negative for Drew Aller. in my opinion. Anytime the going gets tough, he's going to throw it into triple coverage for zero reason at all, and that's just the name of the game, which is Drew Aller playing the quarterback position. So, honestly, if you just don't pay attention to that and hope he can maybe fix that, I mean, he hasn't done it and call it whatever, but if you maybe hope he can fix that, like he is the big body, you look at him and be like, yeah, that's a quarterback. Huge, big arm, can huck it deep, and he's honestly a tough player.
He's Big Ben. I will give him that. He is Big Ben.
He can move,
but Mike McCarthy has a lot of work to do.
Oh yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
He can move like Big Ben, I'd say.
Yes, he can. Yes, absolutely.
Probably a little faster, but yeah.
You guys said it. There you have it, folks. This pick has gotten tons of hate, not just from Penn State fans. I mean, Cody's a Penn State fan as well, but from anybody who has ever watched Drew Aller play football. Honestly, though, I like it. This guy's my quarterback too.
Yeah, we know.
My ceiling and floor comps for him were both former Steelers. Ben Roethlisberger, Dwayne Haskins.
Oh, rest in peace.
Yes, rest in peace. I mean, the high-end play from Drew Aller shows fantastic traits and real potential, but it's just so wildly inconsistent right now. He cannot start this year. Aaron Rodgers better come back, or somebody better come in to start because we cannot be putting Drew Aller out there. But if he can sit at least 1 year, learn from Mike McCarthy, who I think deserves at least a little bit of credit for Aaron Rodgers' development in Green Bay.
Sure. Okay.
Sit behind Mason Rudolph.
What about Dak, too? You gonna give him Dak, too?
Sure.
Dak? Yeah. No. That was Jason Garrett.
Oh, okay.
Jason Garrett. He sit behind Mason Rudolph, too, who can show him how to take the easy and unexciting plays.
True.
Yeah.
And then Aaron Rodgers, if he comes back, I think that maybe you can form a better quarterback than what we've seen so far.
You mean like sit him for 4 years?
Yeah, Jordan Love him.
All right, cool.
Aaron Rodgers him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe wait until he's like 27 and his mind's a little more mature.
Maybe. I think
his skull's a little less thick.
I think they say your mind is done developing at 25.
Okay,
all right, we got a few.
We'll think about it
you got
after
like
that.
3 years or something.
We'll think about it.
Dalen Everett, this guy fits the Steelers' mold of a big outside corner. 6'1", 196, 31 and 7/8 arms. This guy can play press coverage with Joey Porter Jr. and Jamel Dean. He's a smooth mover. 4.38 40-yard dash is legit. You see it as he covers receivers all over the field. He can crash down and lay some hard hits, too. Steelers fans are going to love that. But I do think he does need to improve his ability to quickly read and react in zone coverage. But hopefully the Steelers just keep him in man for most of the time.
Press man with that pass rush should be good.
Yeah.
So, not getting Vega Ioane, we looked at another guard, although he's never played guard, always played tackle in college. That's Jennings Dunker. I love this guy. Heavy-legged and aggressive offensive line. Great in the run game. He can push downhill. I said he's a prime candidate to convert to guard, and that's exactly what he's going to do here. I don't know that he's going to start day one over probably Spencer Anderson, but I think that throughout the season he could become the starter. He just needs some reps at guard, but I think he's going to be a good long-term piece on this offensive line, and fans are going to love the guy. Long, ginger mullet. I'm sure you guys have all seen the video of his combine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's great. He's got the mindset, and he's, Iowa guy, born and raised in the Midwest. Those guys are tough as nails. I think he's got the right mindset. He's got plenty of physical abilities, like Carson said. I think he'll be great. I think he will work his way right into a guard spot and be fantastic on that line.
Yeah, I mean, legendary mullet on a hardworking farm boy. What more could you possibly want in your offensive lineman?
I think he's Hail Bale throwing champion.
Yes, he was, yeah. This guy is a bulldozer in the run game and constantly churning forward. That's
Steelers football.
Steelers football, exactly.
We need some of that.
Yeah.
Just to touch on Caden Weegan real quick, he's not going to play wide receiver. He's an electric punt returner at Iowa for the past 2 years since Cooper DeJean left for the NFL. He wasn't even expecting to get drafted. I don't know if you guys saw this early on day 3. Mm-hmm. He was on the golf course whenever he got the call from the Steelers. Pretty cool. Just a fun guy to bring into the team.
Yeah, he's just Gunnar Olszewski.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Riley Nowakowski, tight end. He's the new fullback. He's not going to play tight end. Connor Hayward is now in Las Vegas. Nowakowski's the fullback.
Yep.
Robert Spears-Jennings, a safety. I like this pick a lot. This guy ran a 4.32. He's 6'2", 205, 32.5-inch arms. He's happiest crashing down toward the line of scrimmage to make tackles, and he tries to shuffle laterally to keep the ball carrier in front of him. Jaquan Brisker, the new Steelers safety, has had concussions and other injury concerns throughout his NFL career so far. So Spears-Jennings could be stepping in if need be. And then finally, we got to talk about Eli Heidenreich, the hometown kid out of Navy from Pittsburgh. This guy was at the draft, but he was selected in the 7th round. It was just awesome to watch his emotions as he got the call from his hometown team and got to walk out on the stage and give Roger Goodell a big hug. And also, got to talk about him as a player a little bit, too. Just intriguing player because Navy is a whack offense. It is nothing like the NFL. But in his college career, 3 seasons, 169 carries, 1,157 rush yards, 7 rush touchdowns, 6.8 yards per carry. In the receiving game, 109 receptions, 1,994 receiving yards, 16 receiving touchdowns, 18.3 yards per reception. This guy lined up in the backfield at tight end. He lined up in the slot. He lined up out wide in 2025. And this guy also played snaps on kickoff and punt teams. He's got a sturdy build, 5'11 and a quarter. 197, just a 3.5% drop rate in his career, just 1 fumble in his career. He does move more like a running back, in my opinion, which is fine because he has lots of experience running the ball. My comp for him was actually another former Steeler, Jalen Samuels. You guys remember that guy?
Yeah, for sure. Like tight end convert?
Yeah, like tight end, the running back kind of convert guy. Yeah. The strength and effort that Heidenreich needs to play in the NFL is definitely there. But I think he lacks the flexibility and lateral agility to play receiver. I think he just needs to be focused on working north to south, moving heavy objects like a gym rat who loves chest day. I think he's just going to be best as like a versatile H-back like Jalen Samuels was. And Mike McCarthy, if you'll remember back to his Green Bay days, he worked with wide receiver / running back Ty Montgomery in Green Bay for years. Yep. So I think that there is actually a chance for Eli Heidenreich. At least I want to believe, because it is an awesome story. This guy came from Navy. It's awesome to see.
Yeah.
I'll get it started off with the grading here. I could see a path where 9 out of these 10 draft picks play meaningful snaps as early as year 1. This is my A+ draft class.
What?
I love what Omar brought in here. I got the Steelers shirt on today.
Wow.
Dude, this is my A+ draft. I absolutely love this. Top to bottom.
Wow.
We could have contributors. It is awesome. Gabe Rubio may not see the field. He's the one I didn't really talk about.
He's big, though.
He's big.
And
he's
very
big.
athletic.
Yes. So, love it. A+.
Wow. Didn't see that coming. But
I'm
not even going to go that high. I was just going to give them an A, and that's drug bound. You know why it's drug down, but I talked about it. I'm a huge fan of what the Steelers did here, even if I wasn't a Steelers fan and, was jaded. Not jaded, but, whatever. I think they did a very good job at Omar Khan continues to cook. He picks what the team needs, and that's exactly what happened here, and honestly got a lot of Steelers fans super excited for next year. And I think this team's going to look different, not only because of the coaching, but just because of all these pieces. I think it's going to be a pretty electric setup.
I don't think they could have done any better with their top 5 picks, except for the Drew Aller one. And because of that solely, I'm going to give it a B+.
Wow.
Just because I really don't want to see – I mean, the amount of times I had to see him in a Penn State jersey and sadness, and then he's going to be a Steeler. It's just – anyways, I love the first 5 except for him. And then Eli Heidenreich. Yeah. I've seen him come to Christian McCaffrey. So
the Steelers quietly are really good at making guys like Eli Heidenreich work.
That's what I'm saying.
All of the time. They'll need a play, and just out of nowhere, it's just like, oh, there he is. Like, what's his name? Gunnar Olszewski or
Connor Hayward's a weird convert, like
a little bit,
non-positional player. Jalen Samuels was like the lead running back that like 2020 or something. I mean, it was a bad year for the Steelers. But
I think that was the Duck Hodges year.
Yes, I think it was.
Year, but yeah, so it'll be very interesting.
It's an exciting time to be a Lurs fan.
It sure is. All right, moving to the AFC East, we're going to start it off with the Buffalo Bills. In round 2, they picked edge TJ Parker and corner David Igminosin. In round 4, they picked offensive tackle Jude Bowery and wide receiver Skylar Bell and linebacker Caleb Alarms Orr. In round 5, they picked safety Jalen Kilgore and defensive tackle Zane Durant. And in round 7, they picked corner Toriano Pride Jr.
TJ Sanders in the second round, unfortunately, probably will be a day 1 starter at edge.
TJ Parker. They do have TJ Sanders.
Sorry, TJ Parker.
Last year's second round pick, TJ Sanders.
Probably will be a day 1 starter, at least in the rotation at edge. I think he's an incredibly slow mover. He's very tight, kind of lacks power for his size. He's not quite quick enough. He's a weird tweener where he's not really going to do much. But I think he will do all right in this rotation if they move him to D end, please. But overall, to be honest with you, I think this is a waste of an edge pick.
I love it. Yeah, this is Carson and I are. If you didn't watch our Edge episode, Carson and I are completely flip flopped on Zion Young and T.J. Parker. T.J. Parker was my Edge 5, but honestly, even I kind of wish they went with a different style of edge here because they already have the bigger, powerful edges like Bradley Chubb, Greg Rousseau, Michael Hoyt, Landon Jackson. All these guys are the same style of guy. Mm-hmm. In our mock draft, I picked Cassius Howell for them, because that would bring something different with his quickness and maneuverability. And he was on the board here at 35. So, but I don't love the T.J. Parker pick. Do you have any comments on T.J. Parker?
No, I wasn't a huge fan of him either.
On to the second-round pick, another guy who I was lower on, but Carson was higher on, Davison Igbinosun. My quarterback, 16. I just think that he's slow. And impress, his length and strength does allow him to control the reps, but this guy penalized 21 times in the past 2 seasons.
Not good.
But his best play, though, is still in press coverage. So you want him to stay there because he doesn't have the recovery speed to really bounce back at the catch point in off-zone coverage. Is he going to be able to clean up his game in the NFL against quicker wide receivers with more athletic ability? I have my doubts, especially in the NFL.
Yeah, Davis Igbinosun is a guy that I love as a player, but I hate this landing spot because he needs to go somewhere where they have a great pass rush. He can get up there and press. He can cover like hell for maybe 2 seconds and press while they try to pass rush the quarterback to get the ball off. And here you're not going to have that pass rush. The quarterback's going to have time to stand back there, pick him apart, get some penalties out of the guy, and just another unfortunate landing spot for these first 2 guys. Moving to their 4th-round pick, Skylar Bell. This guy's a small school receiver that dominated at that small school. He can play inside or outside. I think he's probably best inside, but he's going to end up on the outside because they just brought in Khalil Shakir. So I think he's going to be opposite DJ Moore probably. And I see him as a receiver that's kind of like you know exactly what you're getting. He's not super exciting, but he seems safe. So I think I comped him to Stephon Diggs.
What?
Yeah, that all was D2'd, of course, but Stephon Diggs coming out of college. So I think Stephon Diggs was like a 4th or 5th round pick as well. But I think that he'll play a role. I'll say that.
Yeah, I don't really know what he's going to do because I also saw him better as a slot receiver, and Khalil Shakir has been their best receiver the past 2 years. Mm-hmm. So I don't think he gets moved out of there. I think that was kind of a wasted pick as well. Bowery is an athletic offensive tackle. He played left tackle at Boston College. He's got some initial quickness in his kick slides off the snap. He could honestly battle for the left guard spot with the departure of David Edwards, or maybe just be long-term offensive tackle depth. Elarm Zora, sound the alarm, baby. 6'2", 234. He ran a 4.47. That's basically it.
Okay.
It's just, but he could see the field because it's Terrell Bernard, Dorian Williams, and Caleb Elarms Orr battling for playing time. So, Jalen Kilgore. They have so much depth at the safety position on the Bills now, but all of their safeties have question marks about them. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Cole Bishop, Geno Stone, Jordan Hancock from last year, Damar Hamlin, now Jalen Kilgore. I don't mind loading up on all these safeties because then you have a good competition to see who is actually really good in the preseason and training campus. So whatnot. So I don't hate that. Zane Durant, he's undersized, defensive tackle, elite athlete though, blazing speed and quickness, 4.75 40-yard dash at 290 pounds. I think he's a perfect player to learn from Ed Oliver, who is cut from the same cloth. How about that?
That's a good one. Can he ride a horse like him though?
I don't think he can. That's a fantastic video.
He'll have to learn.
But Carson mentioned him earlier. Their 2025 second rounder, TJ Sanders, is also cut from that cloth. So this is just more of bringing in what they already have, which I feel like is a lot of what they did in this draft. So I gave it a C+ because they brought in some fine talent, but a lot of it, like TJ Parker and like Skylar Bell and Zane Durant, these are all guys that basically you already have in your rooms. Why do you need to bring in more of them? Like I think they're going to be fine players, but they're not different. There's no diversification.
There we go.
Wow. I gave them like a C-. I don't know. I just wasn't really smelling what Brandon Bean was cooking, if you know what I mean.
Stepping in.
Yeah.
Beans, probably.
Probably beans. And they were a little stinky. I just wasn't a huge fan of these guys. Did they need these positions? Sure, probably. I'm not doubting that at all. And I'm not going to doubt Brandon Beane. Obviously, he's pretty damn good GM, but I just wasn't a huge fan of it. So C-.
I'm going D. I don't like T.J. Parker, and I think there's a lot of wasted picks and not good fits here. I'd just say that in Buffalo right now, the beans are probably black. And, I mean, at least you have the new stadium to look forward to. But good free agency, I guess. Good free agencies.
Yeah.
The beans are getting a little more right, but still black.
Yeah. All right, the Miami Dolphins. Round 1, they picked offensive tackle Caden Proctor and corner Chris Johnson. Round 2, linebacker Jacob Rodriguez. Round 3, wide receiver Caleb Douglas and tight end Will Kazmarek and wide receiver Chris Bell. Round 4, linebacker Trey Moore and linebacker Kyle Lewis. Round 5, safety Michael Taffy, wide receiver Kevin Coleman Jr. and Seydou Traore.
Bingo.
Nailed it. And in round 6, guard DJ Campbell. In round 7, edge Max Llewellyn. And a notable UDFA they picked up was running back Le'Veon Moss.
There's a lot of picks here, and you can't really miss with any of them because you need everything. So their first-round pick, Caden Proctor out of Alabama. This guy played tackle at Alabama. They kept trying to develop him. He's huge. He has the length. He has the size and everything. His feet are just a little slow, and I want him to move to guard because of that. And I think he probably will do that, but kind of like I said earlier, you need depth everywhere. And I think tackle or guard, wherever they play him, hopefully guard, he'll be okay.
I agree with you. They need it all, and he's a solid player.
Yeah, he's got mass. They already announced that he will be starting at guard with Patrick Paul still at left tackle, Austin Jackson at right tackle for 2026. Austin Jackson's he's got 1 year left in his deal, so after that, they may try moving him to right tackle. Like Carson said, the feet need some work because he's just so damn heavy. So we'll see. But I think it is going to be interesting to see. So the Dolphins traded back from 11 to 12 with the Cowboys for the Cowboys to draft Caleb Downs. It's going to be interesting to see who has the better career there. Yeah. Obviously different positions, but Caden Proctor versus Caleb Downs, that could come back to bite them in the butt because Caleb Downs we all think is just going to be great right off the bat, and Caden Proctor is a project.
Yeah.
Another person who I think is a project, Chris Johnson, who they also drafted in the first round. I see him as Terry Arnold 2.0.
Ooh.
I have real fears for Chris Johnson, and I don't see him as anything close to a CB1 in the NFL, maybe a CB2, but the Dolphins are drafting him like a CB1 because at 27 overall, that's a lot to put on his shoulders for a secondary that still needs a lot more help.
So one may say he is a microwavable, a.k.a. easy to cook.
Yes.
Ooh.
Sorry about that one.
Terrion.
Okay.
Not that much, though.
So he needs to be microwaved for like 3 minutes.
Yeah, so it's like
Terrion's like 30 seconds.
It's like clearly a microwave dinner. It's like a hot pocket, but instead of putting it in the microwave, you just like put it in the air fryer.
Oh, okay.
Like, okay,
solid.
It's still a hot pocket.
A little less greasy.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I like it.
Yeah,
okay.
A little less soggy.
Yeah.
Just to make that Chris Johnson pick even worse, this was Jalen Waddle for Chris Johnson pretty much.
Yeah, true.
And this was the second wide corner off the board.
Yeah.
Number 2 corner off the board.
Yeah, what did we even have him as?
Like 7.
He was
corners were all messed up.
He was your corner 11 and my corner 9. Cody's 6.
Yeah. I had him the highest.
Yeah, there was still Jermon McCoy, Colton Hood, Avion Trail, D'Angelo Pons, even Traydon Stukes.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. I said you can't miss, but that was a miss.
Leave it up to the Dolphins.
Now, talking about not misses, Jacob Rodriguez.
Oh, baby.
Pick 43, that's a steal for this guy. Mm-hmm. We all love him. He's a triple my guy, one of only 2 this year. Yeah. And I think, while I love the guy, this is a head-scratching pick by the Dolphins because I said you really can't miss with anywhere. This pick is addressing one of, I'd say, 2 positions that are actually good on your team. Jordan Brooks led the league in tackles last year. Tyrell Dodson, I think, is one of the better players on this team, actually. So I don't really understand it. I absolutely love the guy, though, and I think he should start nonetheless because he is such a playmaker. And I love it for a defense that needs playmaking, but it's just like the landing spot's a little gross.
Yeah, I agree. I love Jacob Rodriguez. Maybe they messed up so bad on Chris Johnson. They're like, all right, we're just taking best player available this time around. And, yeah, he'll be he'll be great no matter what. But, yeah, it is a little confusing.
Yeah, the fit is interesting because Jeff Hafley, whenever he took over the Dolphins, he came out and said that he had like 3 guys that he really wants to build around. Devon Achane, the running back, obviously. Center. Damn it. I'm losing his name right now.
Aaron Brewer.
Oh, yeah.
And the third guy, the only defensive player he mentioned was Jordan Brooks.
Yeah.
That he wants to build around. So it's interesting. I do think that Jacob Rodriguez deserved to be drafted here, probably even higher. He was my number 20 player in this class. I think that he was disrespectfully not getting enough hype compared to Sonny Styles. Jacob Rodriguez is great. But, yeah, the Jordan Brooks being there and being a focal point of this defense is interesting. Caleb Douglas at 75. My number 64 player in this class, my wide receiver 12. I knew I was much higher than consensus on Douglas throughout the draft process. And in our 3-round mock draft, I actually drafted him to the Dolphins at number 90 overall. And I figured that was way higher than what he was actually going to be drafted.
Well.
And then, boom! The Dolphins drafted him at 75. The 11th wide receiver off the board. And the first wide receiver this regime drafted for a team that really needs wide receivers. I don't know, it makes me feel pretty good.
Yeah,
but nearly every other analyst is just shitting on this pick so hard. So everybody just wait and see, because I like Caleb Douglas, and I think he's got some potential. So everybody just wait. Let him cook.
Somebody that Kean and I don't like, that's Chris Bell, also in the 3rd round. Kean has him at 26.
Woo.
I have him at 16. He is coming off injury right now. He's the best way I can describe him is he's like an undersized tight end. He kind of moves like that and plays like that, kind of like Alec Maynor.
That's a good comp.
Also, kind of like Jonnu Smith a little bit. So I don't really love him for the Dolphins. I think that they need to get someone a little faster, I guess, on the outside, because I like Malik Washington in the slot. But I think Caleb Douglas is a good pick. I agree. But Chris Bell, it's not just drafting athletic tight end at that point.
Yeah, I don't like Chris Bell either. I said how I feel about Cedric Tillman earlier in the episode, and I comped Chris Bell to Cedric Tillman. Good size. People thought he had good speed at Tennessee. Cedric Tillman, that is. But it's average, just like Chris Bell. A bunch of analysts just love this guy, and they think that he had a chance at sneaking into the end of round 1 or early round 2 if he hadn't torn his ACL in November, which is absolutely crazy to me. My ranking of him and Carson's ranking of him have nothing to do with the fact that he tore his ACL. It's just I don't think he has the ability to separate in the NFL. Kazmarek, he's just a great blocking tight end. PFF run blocking grades above 68.7 for each of his past 3 seasons, which is really good for a college tight end. And not Mike McDaniel, sorry, but they're gonna love this in Miami. Trey Moore, he's a rare player who, instead of switching from linebacker to edge, he switched from edge to linebacker in his final college season. And I still think he's better at edge just watching his film. But he's a downhill chess piece for Jeff Hafley to pair with if he's downhill, an uphill chess piece.
Sure.
And Kyle Lewis, super disrespectful that he fell to 138. He's a unique linebacker, safety, slot corner chess piece who Jeff Hafley can hopefully get creative with, playing on the back end or wherever the heck he plays. He's awesome.
I agree. And then their 3rd receiver pick is Kevin Coleman Jr. out of Missouri. Kean had him at 32. I had him at 19. This guy, he's small, very quick, and he plays with fire. I comped him to Khalil Shakir, and I think he might just be insurance for Malik Washington because that's kind of an important role in this offense, or at least it was last season. So now they have Malik Washington, Kevin Coleman Jr., and Taj Washington, who would play the same role, which wasted pick, I think. But
yeah, he's just a jolty slot receiver who I see mostly as a depth piece and punt return option for them. Taffy, this guy, safety out of Texas, went from walk-on to 2.5-year starter and 2-time All-American. He's a free safety who loves to hang back, scope out what's happening, attack downhill to meet receivers. He's only 190 pounds, but he plays a smart brand of football. He plays the game the right way.
Nice.
And then Trey Ore, because NFL teams drafted tight ends like crazy this year, and now they're using more and more tight ends. He's the smaller, faster receiving tight end to pair up with Kazmarek. He's under 240 pounds, and he's like a versatile H-back type of guy. He's only got a 4.4% drop rate throughout his career. So this class, I think, moves them in the right direction thanks to the sheer amount of playable pieces they added in this class. But I do have real questions about the outlook of their 2 first-round picks. And they could be scrutinized in the future with these being the first 2 selections of this regime. Overall, though, I gave him a B, just based on all the other pieces they added behind those guys.
Okay, interesting. I pretty much go along with these guys about not liking some of these picks, at least where they were picked. There was a team that needed a lot of pieces, so I just gave them middle of the road, like C+. Nothing really. I love Jacob Rodriguez, but I don't know why he's there. Like you said, I'm a fan of Caden Proctor. I think he'll be super solid for them. But yeah, I think just a C+, kind of middle of the road.
I'm going just a straight C. I would like them to get more specialized linemen with their first pick to really anchor down an area. He was my lineman. Caden Proctor was my lineman 7. So it's like, with that being your first pick, Chris Johnson we've talked about, and Jacob Rodriguez, it's just all kind of strange picks to me. So we'll see how it goes. But there's a lot of pieces here. They're just throwing shit at the wall and hoping spaghetti at the wall and hoping it sticks.
Well, spaghetti will stick.
Yeah.
I would hope the shit doesn't stick.
Yeah. Depends, I guess.
All right, New England Patriots, round 1, they picked offensive tackle Caleb Lomu. Round 2, edge Gabe Akis. Round 3, tight end Eli Raridon. Round 5, corner Kieran Prunty. Round 6, offensive tackle Demetrius Crownover. And also linebacker Nnamdi Obiezor. Round 7, quarterback Baron Morton. And running back Jam Miller. And edge Quintavious Hutchins.
Ground beef.
Ground beef.
At the end of the first round. Now, does this mean that Will Campbell gets moved inside because Lomu is a tackle and Morgan Moses on the other side, or is he just learning under Morgan Moses?
Yeah. Either
Either way, I love this pick. I think Ground Beef is going to either play tackle for them, like I said, or he's going to provide depth and learn whatever. I think that the Patriots didn't really need a whole lot, and getting a tackle that you know is going to play his role is pretty safe.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm a fan of Lomu, and I think he'll be a very, very solid addition to this line, even if he's just kind of backing up right now. It's if you can get that type of depth, like that level of player, just as a depth piece, you're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, it is interesting how they drafted Lomu because he's only ever played left tackle.
Yeah.
And he's already a really good pass protector. One thing that Will Campbell showed he struggled with in the playoffs. So people are saying, like, yeah, he's just going to play right tackle. It's like,
I
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that it's pretty telling that they used their first-round pick
don't
on a
know.
left tackle, a strictly left tackle who's a pass protector. I don't know. So,
Yeah.
Akis. I compared him to an ox, so that should tell you everything you need to know. Dude plays with man strength.
Yep.
And it can fail him sometimes, but I bet Mike Vrabel is looking forward to training with him in the trenches.
Absolutely. I think Akis to the Patriots is a very good fit here, and he's just he's a Vrabel type of guy, just tough and gritty.
Amen.
I agree. They need a pass rush right now. They have Harold Landry III and Draymond Jones, and I comped Gabe Akis to Matthew Judon, who departed here a couple of years ago, and there hasn't really been much of a pass rush since. So
Yeah.
I think Gabe Akis is a good edge to bring in. Eli Raridon out of Notre Dame. I think this is kind of another Mike Vrabel pick, just a big tight end, depth piece. He's not really going to do too much. I think it's just going to be bring him in for 12 personnel kind of thing, and then Hunter Henry's just still going to be the main tight end in this offense. So run the ball with this guy, I guess.
Yeah. I think this tight end class is deep, and there are about 10 tight ends I feel good about playing a role in the NFL immediately. Raridon was not one of those guys. He was my tight end 14. I think he just lacks spark and the potential to provide anything special to this offense. Karan Prunty, he was Elliott Wolf's first selection of this draft without Mike Vrabel, and he was number 469 on the consensus board. And because, well, as everybody knows, Vrabel was at counseling on day 3 of the draft following the Diana Rossini picture drama thing. So this was their first day 3 pick, and it was a hell of a stretch. He's a 25-year-old long cornerback, lacks short area quickness and fluidity. He was a 5-year starter, though, in college. 2020 at Kansas, 2022 through 2024 at North Carolina A&T, which is FCS, and then 2025 at Wake Forest. So Elliott Wolf, it wasn't a good showing for you right off the bat.
This pick was like, Mom and Dad's out of the room. Do something crazy while we have the chance.
Karan Prunty. And I usually listen to the NFL Stock Exchange podcast. It's Connor Rogers and Trevor Sikkema. And these guys watch like 500 draft prospects. And whenever this guy was drafted, Trevor looks at Connor. He's like, I don't know who that is. And this is the 5th round. I'm like, I was laughing. I was like, okay, that's great. Nicely done.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Demetrius Crownover, Carson, did you take notes on him?
Big project.
Yes. Yeah. He was a former tight end. He cannot pass block right now. He allowed 46 pressures in his past 2 seasons. That is 23 per season. That is more than 1 per game.
Not good.
This guy should be working for Amazon.
Not good.
But he's a project. He's athletic. So, and then Jam Miller. He was the 12th and final running back drafted this year. He did not deserve to be. He was my running back 19, and Carson had him low as well. There are so many better running backs that were falling all weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Jam is not fast. He lacks contact balance,
Sure does.
and he will not make any defenders miss with
he
explosiveness.
Won't. Nope.
The best thing he has going for him is that his nickname is Jam.
That is a good
What's
name.
his real name?
Jamarian.
Also a good name.
Also a good name.
Yeah.
Yeah. But overall, I would have liked to see them add more secondary depth and overall explosiveness on either side of the ball, because most of these draft picks feel like low upside, solid floor players, which is okay.
Yep.
But you look up and down the depth chart and you wonder, who's going to make a big play for me on offense or defense? Now, it's rumored that they're going to be getting A.J. Brown on offense, but like the defense is like, okay, who's going to do something here? Gonzalez is obviously very good. Bobby Spillane is obviously also very good. But like explosiveness consistently, they just don't have it. So I gave their grade a D, because I think we're going to look back at this draft class and think, oh yeah, their 2026 class did not make them any better.
Yeah. It feels that way. I gave them a C-, pretty much for the same reason. Yeah, there's nothing really that's going to put them over. It doesn't feel that there's anything that's going to, push them over an edge to actually win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I with this draft class, I don't think they make it back this year. I mean, I know it's really hard to do. That's not like a hot take, but like they didn't add that much here.
Yeah.
I give him a B- because I like Lomu and Aukus as like safe. You know exactly where you're getting pieces, but I would drop it down now because I think you make a good point. And when you have a team this good, you need those explosive pieces. These first 2 picks that I do love are like teams that like the Dolphins and the Jets should be making, because they need some sense of like security, and you know what you're getting. So
surefire.
Yeah, you make a good point there.
The New York Jets, round 1, they picked edge David Bailey, tight end Kenyon Sadiq, and wide receiver Omar Cooper Jr. Round 2, corner D'Angelo Pons. Round 4, defensive tackle Darrell Jackson Jr. and quarterback Cade Klubnik. Round 6, guard Inez Cooper, and round 7, safety VJ Payne.
Round 1, pick 2, David Bailey. So I love David Bailey. He was my edge 2 behind only Arvell Reese. And I think that a lot of us thought that Arvell Reese was going to go here.
Yeah.
So David Bailey, I think he still does. It's kind of a hard to miss kind of pick here, because they need an edge rush bad. They got Kingsley Enagbare and Joseph Osai, who neither are going to make a play for the Jets defense. And I think David Bailey is so damn quick off the line. He's strong enough to get in the backfield. He can do a little something in the run game as well. I think he's going to be great for this defense. It's hard to miss right there.
I agree. Yeah, he was my edge 3 coming out, and I think he'll definitely bring a actual presence of pass rush to the Jets.
Yeah, and he was my edge 4 because I would have rather had Arvell Reese at number 2 overall, because his versatility and potential to maybe become a great NFL player at the perfect time would line up with the Jets. But I think this is like we got to save our asses now or else we're going to get fired. And I think that David Bailey might be a better pure edge right now. So he should be fine, a fine starter for them immediately with his insane quickness off the edge. So I don't even hate the pick. Yep. I do also love the potential of Kenyon Sadiq as maybe the most athletic, moldable ball of clay at the tight end position that the NFL has ever seen. The speed to be a mismatch in the pass game and strength to block in the run game. This guy could be anything that you dream of if you just coach him right.
I agree with that. He's an exciting piece to bring in that can serve you well in multiple positions on the field, which the Jets need anytime they can get it. Just put this guy anywhere you want, give it a little spark, just give him the ball, let him do something cool with it, and, just get some spark in your offense.
Yeah, Kenny and Sadiq, I want to know how this conversation went in the war room, because Kenny Sadiq, you guys talked about the upside, but Mason Taylor was arguably their best receiver last year. So I wonder if this is just the Jets organization deciding Mason Taylor isn't good enough to stop us from drafting Kenny Sadiq, or if they see a role for both players.
Multiple tight end sets.
Yeah.
That's what the NFL's doing now.
Yeah. Either way, I think he's going to be a great weapon for the offense. Then another great weapon, Omar Cooper Jr., also in the first round. Even though I didn't really love him, none of us really loved him. Yeah. We had him as our receiver 9 for Kian, 10 for Cody, and 8 for me. I think the Jets need a guy like Omar Cooper. They don't really have a very solid quarterback situation. They don't really have a very solid offensive line situation. They need someone to get the ball into the hands and let him go to work afterwards, and that's what Omar Cooper Jr. does. 0.39 missed tackles forced per attempt in college. Debo was 0.34, 5 points lower. This guy's the play strength. He has sharp breaks in his routes. He can be used in the slot, a little bit outside, whatever you need from him. I think he's like he's a more surefire Malachi Corley that they tried with a couple years ago.
I agree. I think it's a good combo to bring in because you already have an explosive type player in Garrett Wilson. I think it'll be a good complement to Wilson's play style.
I wasn't a fan of all the mock drafts that I saw with Omar Cooper Jr. being drafted in the top 20. I saw him as high as 13 overall, which is absolutely crazy. But at number 30, I'm fine with it. As Carson said, he's a madman with the ball in his hands, and he can immediately provide a spark in the yak category. So he can turn some little plays into big plays, which the Jets could really use some layups like that.
They just need plays.
Yes.
And I like how it keeps Adonai Mitchell on the field.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be in a slot, but they still drafted a receiver. So.
Yep.
Yeah, Adonai Mitchell actually showed some flashes last year.
When he caught it.
Surprising. And Cody
he was getting open.
Yeah.
He
was
catch
getting
it.
open.
Yeah.
Yeah. His hands, though, were also just like wide
open.
He was trying to catch the ball like this.
Yeah. I thought he was playing beach volleyball or something.
D'Angelo Pons, I want a jersey. I want a Jets D'Angelo Pons jersey. One of my favorite players in this class. I had him up super high, my number 7 player in this class. Ooh. And I mean, my comp sums him up pretty well. He's Mario's fireball pitch and Mario's super slugger. Mario's super slugger is the Wii game. He's small, fiery, quick, fast, and it would hurt to get hit by it.
Yeah. I would accept that jersey over that one.
I love it. Yeah, I know. I need to get a D'Angelo Pons. Yeah. I will get a D'Angelo Pons jersey.
I love it.
D'Angelo Pons isn't a guy that I was as high on as Kian was. I had him down at 5, but to get him 50th overall, I think that's a great value for the guy. Darrell Jackson Jr. is a guy that I think isn't going to play a role right away. They just brought in Tavondre Sweat at the nose tackle, and I think Darrell Jackson Jr. may play defensive tackle beside him eventually, maybe in a rotation, but mostly it's just a depth piece trying to shore up the run defense a little bit.
Yeah, and he's got 34 3/4-inch arms. He just doesn't know how to use them right now, but the anchor is there. He was my defensive tackle 16. Carson was much higher on him. I think like 5. You have like 5. I mean,
5.
Yeah, those long arms help him wrap up ball carriers who can come near him. He can't exactly do anything to get near them. They have to come near him. He's got to lure him in like a. Never mind.
Yeah, we'll leave that lie.
Cade Klubnik. He was my quarterback 8, but I can understand drafting him as a dart throw. He's a quarterback who, he put out great film in 2024.
Sure.
That got him in the number 1 overall pick conversation in the preseason, and then the whole Clemson team sucked in 2025.
Real bad.
But even in 2025, I still think Klubnik, he showed arm strength, the ability to escape the pocket and improvise, some nice throws in rhythm, especially comebackers on the sideline. For him to go in the 4th round as the 5th quarterback off the board in this QB class, that's fine. Why not take a stab at him? Not stab him, sorry. But Geno Smith is not your long-term quarterback, so if shit hits the fan mid-season, throw Klubnik in there, see if you got something.
Yeah, decent spot to bring him in. He clearly doesn't have to be the starter right now.
Yeah.
Just let him sit there and watch and learn and see what you got.
I'm also okay with this pick. It is if you consider it like a waste of a pick, at round 4 it is a little high, but you already gave Brady Cook a chance last year. You kind of know what you have with him.
Yeah.
And, yeah, like you guys said, I think that this is fine for a guy that was projected to be the number 1 overall pick
he showed big
at one
promise.
time a year or two ago. So.
Yes, he did. Inez Cooper, 3-year starter at right guard at Miami with plus size and length. He's 6'6", 334, 34-inch arms. This guy, he just adds depth to an already really good O-line for Geno Smith and Cade Klubnik. And then VJ Payne at 228. That's great value for the number 127 player on the consensus big board. I wasn't super high on him, but I do still think he can be a long tackling box safety who can hover around the line of scrimmage to meet the ball carrier. Carson, any comments on VJ Payne?
Yeah, he's long, good speed. He just isn't very strong. He kind of lacks the burst and explosiveness, but I think that he might be able to see some play time, at least on special teams for sure. So
I was the one I've been hyping up the Jets offseason. I kind of like what they're doing. I haven't always liked the Jets, but since the Mike White era of the Jets, I've kind of been a fan, been rooting for them just because I think they're hilariously bad.
It's easy to root for the bad teams.
Yes, it is. And while I think they could use more depth at wide receiver, linebacker, cornerback, I am still very impressed with how Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn completely reformed this starting lineup this offseason. They got 4 exciting immediate starters with their first 4 picks in this draft, so I gave them an A. Good job, Jets.
Nice. I was going to give them an A- because of those picks too. I think they did a great job at narrowing in and focusing on like what will give us the most benefit in these first picks especially, and I think they did just that. I really do. So it'll be exciting to watch. But yeah, A- for me.
I was very close to giving him an A+, but ultimately I settled on A because I think it's easier to think it's better than it was because they had 3 first-round picks. It seems like they're bringing in a lot, and I like all these guys, but I think they did great with what they have, and like you said, I'm excited to watch the Jets this year and see what they do with some of these pieces.
And if this regime can hang on, they have 3 more first-round picks next year, which is
Sure do.
Thank you, Colts.
Yep. All right, moving to the AFC South. The first one I'll talk about here is the Houston Texans. In round 1, they picked guard Keelan Rutledge. Round 2, defensive tackle Cade McDonald and tight end Marlon Klein. Round 4, Feachi Nwewu. And also linebacker Wade Woodis. And round 5, safety Kamari Ramsey. Round 6, wide receiver Lewis Bond. And round 7, linebacker Aiden Fisher. A notable UDFA running back Noah Whittington.
Ooh.
Kalen Rutledge in the first round was a huge reach.
Yeah.
And while we were at the draft watching, we were like, oh, did they trade up for – or did they trade up? I thought they traded. They definitely traded up.
So we were
like,
yeah,
they're like, oh, they traded up. They want this guy really bad.
Then
who's going to be? Is it this guy? Is it this guy? And then they announced the pick, and it turns out that it is Kian's offensive lineman 20.
Yeah.
Oof, duh.
And my offensive lineman 12 in the first round, which was incredible, not in a good way. So it looks like he's going to start at center right now, which makes the pick even worse because you can get high-quality centers late in the draft.
Yeah.
Fourth.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love to just believe in D'Amico Ryans all the time, but this is a wasted pick for me, and I think that if I was the Texans, I'd want to take this one back.
Yeah, I agree. This was very interesting, especially for a Nick Caserio that normally drafts seemingly pretty well, at least from what I can remember. So, yeah, I agree. Interesting pick here.
Yeah, I cannot and I refuse to understand it. His lower body, I think, can look panicked at times, especially when he's one-on-one with a quicker defender. And his upper body is very strong and confident, but this just feels like a reach for a position of need. Like, I don't know. I didn't hear about any other buzz for Keelan Rutledge in the first round.
Yeah.
So this is absolutely stupid. Now, if you just switch the picks, it makes me feel a little bit better.
Oh, yeah.
So
So much
36
better.
up to 26, that'd be Caden McDonald, the defensive tackle. Great pick. And he immediately makes his defense even better, which is really scary because this guy's just constantly moving interior offensive lineman. He's controlling reps right off the snap. Strong and smart, and just for a one-year starter.
Yeah, I love Cade McDonald. Me and Carson both love the guy. My guy's for us. Just this is completely what you'd expect the Texans to do in the first round. Like, he's just such a solid player. He's going to fit that system with D'Amico Ryans so well. I mean, he would have been great anywhere, but it is, exciting and also scary for opponents to see Caden McDonald go to a D'Amico Ryans defense.
It's crazy to say this as a second-round pick, but with this addition, the Texans might have one of the best defenses in the league.
Oh, yeah.
They have
100%.
Caden McDonald, who's going to hold down the middle. I comped him to Vince Wilfork in the run game. Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter. They got Derek Stingley, Kamari Lassler, Jalen Petrie in coverage. And then over the top, they're like Kalen Bullock and Reed Blankenship. It's insane. But then, to go back to the other side of the spectrum with their next pick, they draft Marlon Klein.
German.
In the second round, which was my tight end 14.
Oofda.
And Kian's tight end 12. So
11 tight ends did not go before him.
Dude, tight ends in the draft is so high. In
very.
This draft.
and it makes it even more confusing because there's a lot of tight end pieces already on this team. Recently they signed Dalton Schultz to a big contract.
They did.
They brought in Foster Moreau, who showed that he is great in his role on the Saints.
Yep.
They brought in Cade Stover a couple years ago in the draft, who's been good whenever Dalton Schultz goes down. Then they even have Brevin Jordan,
He's still there.
Oh, wow.
who showed that he can be explosive in the pass game when he has to be. So I don't understand what this pick is all about. Maybe it's just I can't even speculate because I don't know.
No
So.
clue.
He's just an intriguing vertical threat with straight line speed and a large catch radius. 38 receptions in his college career. Does that get you excited?
Wow. Yeah.
Number 287 on the consensus big board. He went 59.
What was Kalen Rutledge on the consensus big board?
I can't remember.
Is he around that range too?
No, he wasn't that. He was around 100.
Oh, okay.
So, only 75 picks before. Wow. Fabici Nwaiwu, he was number 313 on the consensus big board, and the Texans took him at 106. Man. He was a 4-year starter in college at right guard. He plays at the low pad level, wide base, strong arms to lock onto defensive linemen. I actually do see the potential here, though. He put up a 91.6 PFF pass blocking grade in 2025, allowing just 2 pressures on all year and 0 sacks.
Wow.
Now, this Texans offensive line, much like last year, has a lot of names and known commodities, but last year proved that doesn't always work. It's just throwing spaghetti at the wall and it doesn't always stick. And again, they're projected to have 3 new starters along the O-line this year. Wade Woodaz he's added to a pretty deep linebacker room. I mean, you got Azeez Al-Shaair, Henry To'o, PJ Speed, and Wade Woodaz and Aiden Fisher. I actually liked Aiden Fisher better. They drafted him in the 7th, but they clearly like Woodaz better right now because they drafted him 120 spots higher.
I like Speed the most.
Speed. He's a pretty big linebacker for today's standards. 6'3.5", 236 pounds. But he's honestly just kind of slow to read and react. But if he does get to the ball carrier, he's going to try his best to pick him up and slam him on the ground. That was pretty funny to watch.
Yep.
Cody, tell us about Kamari Ramsey.
Yeah, Kamari Ramsey, I'm definitely highest on him. This is another pick by the Texans that is 100% a D'Amico Ryans Texans defensive pick. He's your old school type of safety that can play basically anywhere you need him to. Yeah. Very well sized. He just looks like he is always in control. He always plays calm, cool, collected, always knows what he's doing. He's always scanning, and then looks to dish some punishment coming downhill. Very strong tackle finisher. This makes a lot of sense for the Texans, and if you like old school safeties, this is your dude in this draft class.
I'm curious where they're going to play him with this stud secondary they already named off. I don't know if this is just insurance for the rest of their team, or if they're going to try to. I don't know if he's quite athletic enough to play in the nickel, but
I don't think
that's
is.
That's
I like
the
him
negative.
In the box.
Yeah, the box is good.
I mean, he has experience playing free safety, box safety, and slot corner, and he's most likely going to do his job wherever he goes. He's not flashy. He doesn't really make plays, but Petrie has a history of injuries. He's missed a lot of time in his seasons in the NFL, so I like the depth add.
Ramsey can step in without missing a beat.
Yeah,
if you need him to.
And D'Amico Ryans loves hitting people, so.
Yeah. I want to touch on this UDFA.
Yeah.
Noah Whittington. This is a running back that I loved. He's a little meatball. He's versatile. He can do it all, catch passes, make people miss, lower the shoulder. Not a great athlete, but he can do all that. And I think that he might have a path to making the roster here. We just got David Montgomery, who they just bought in. Woody Marks was underwhelming, I'd say, last year in the workhorse role. And then Jahar Jordan, who has done nothing. So I think Noah Whittington can make the roster, maybe play on special teams, and with an injury, maybe work his way to some playing time. So I'll be keeping an eye on that.
Yeah, maybe on passing downs. He was a really good pass blocker, which coaches love. So
Definitely.
To sum it up, 4 of their first 5 draft picks were major reaches, and the Texans were lucky that their roster is so talented already and not in need of too many starters going into this draft. I think they got 1, maybe 2 long-term starters out of this draft class, so I gave them a D.
Fair. I was going to give them a D+, and that was C-. Just carried heavily by the big guy, Caden McDonald, and I like Kamari Ramsey too. But yeah, I agree with you. A lot of picks. TBD.
Yes.
Yeah.
You guys said, well, Caden Donald carries this class, and I'm only still putting him in ID as much as I love the guy.
Fair. Moving to the Indianapolis Colts in round 2, they picked up linebacker C.J. Allen. Round 3, safety A.J. Halsey. Round 4, guard Jalen Farmer and linebacker Bryce Betcher. Round 5, edge George Gums Jr. Round 6, edge Caden Curry. Round 7, running back Seth McGowan and wide receiver Deion Burks.
This linebacker pick to me was pretty straightforward. Yeah. They lose their tackle leader, Zaire Franklin. They replace him with C.J. Allen. Now, he's not explosive. He's not super exciting, but I think that he's just kind of a big linebacker back there. He's perfect for a middle linebacker. You know exactly what you're getting. He's going to make tackles.
Yep.
He's not going to do anything more than what he's asked to do, which is pretty much the role Zaire Franklin played. Just clog up the middle, make tackles, and the playmakers will play around you. So I think I actually like this pick especially with pick 53 when most of the other high-end linebackers are gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is interesting that they lost one of the best tacklers in the NFL, and I think they gained one of the hardest hitters in this class. And honestly, he can be a powerhouse attacking downhill like Franklin is. Just do not rely on this guy in coverage.
Right, sure.
A.J. Halsey is another one of the hardest hitters in this class.
Oh, yeah.
And he's coming from the safety position, so he gets a running start. He can be a very nice replacement for the tackler safety Nick Cross, who racked up at least 120 tackles in each of the past 2 years. So just back-to-back really nice additions to fill in players you lost.
Yeah.
I agree. I loved A.J. Halsey. I actually have him as my safety 3 over Emmanuel McNeil Warren. And I think that he's pretty instinctive in coverage too, and I think that given the chance he can jump some routes and make some interceptions like Nick Cross was able to do as well. Moving on to their 4th round pick, Jalen Farmer out of Kentucky. Jalen Farmer mostly plays guard. I think that he could play center if he has to as well, but mostly guard. And I think that this is probably just a depth piece for now. He might be able to work into a role eventually, but this offensive line, I'd say, is already decent to good. So just learn back there, and he played a ton of snaps at Kentucky, so he should be ready to go when he's given the chance.
He lacks some foot speed, and I have fear of quicker defenders getting around him in the NFL. So if he is able to line up a defender, he can be one of those fat bullies who just sits on you. But hopefully he doesn't start for them or doesn't have to play too many snaps in year 1 because it's kind of rough. Bryce Betcher is a linebacker who I actually comp to Cody Barton, meaning he's not flashy in any way. He does a little bit of everything at an average level, and he can be a tackling machine with his textbook technique, and he's just always kind of hanging around at the second level. Another guy who just tackles because he lost a lot in Zaire Franklin and Nick Cross. George Gums Jr., maybe? And Caden Curry. These guys are just much-needed edge depth for this rotation of it's only Leatu Latu, Arden Key, and JT Tuimoloau. Gums is really just a project. He jumped 41 inches. He's 6'4" and a half, 245 pounds, 33 and 5/8 inch arms. Every once in a while you can see the explosion in his step, but it's really not consistent. I did like Caden Curry a good amount. He was my edge 11. I think he's a sleeper. He's good at a little bit of everything. He plays with a hard-nosed mentality where he'll grind his way into the action. And Ohio State defensive coordinator Matt Patricia loved him, who obviously was the New England defensive coordinator for a long time. So.
Yep.
Yeah, Caden Curry, I think, is he has a chance to play time as well. Leatu, Latu, and Arden Key haven't really done a whole lot, so putting them in rotation, I think that he can produce something. Seth McGowan, they drafted in the 7th round, so I don't hate it. He is my running back 12. He came out of Kentucky. I think Kean liked him more than I did.
Yeah, Cody liked him too.
I did.
Yeah,
too,
I have him as like an undersized Isaiah Pacheco. Runs hard cuts, keeps his legs turning, lowers his shoulder. Not a great receiver, but yeah, he runs and plays hard.
Yeah. Yet just like DJ Giddens, another running back who I love is now stuck behind Jonathan Taylor.
Yep.
But yeah, Seth McGowan is very high effort, angry grinder in the Isaiah Pacheco mold. And then I wasn't as high on Deion Burks as other analysts. He was number 128 on my big board, which is lower than like everybody else. But drafting him at number 254 is insane. That's amazing value. I have no idea why he fell. But he's got good speed to zigzag all over the short area of the field. Sometimes it looks like he's playing in fast forward. So I think that they could have actually got a guy here at 254, which is crazy.
I agree. I had him as my receiver 13, sorry. I comped him to a great value, Zay Flowers, like Kean says, just super quick. He can even play outside too. A little small, but yeah, I think that once again, it's another guy that could have a role to play time as Nick Westbrook-Akine is he's been in and out of his career, and then Josh Downs could get injured again and he could play there too.
I do think the Colts still need more offensive line depth, but this draft covered a lot of bases for the Colts despite the fact that they traded away their first-round pick for Sauce Gardner. A solid draft to restock the defense after the departures of linebacker Zaire Franklin, edges Kwity Paye and Samson Ebukam, and safety Nick Cross. I gave this draft a B+.
Solid. I gave them a B-, just kind of middle of the road. I really liked their two hard-hitting picks in their first two picks there with C.J. Allen and A.J. Halsey. And yeah, the rest I think are just very solid, filled the need that they had, especially with the edge position. So yeah, I think right in the middle there, B-.
I'm ready to be in between you guys, like you said, like the first two picks. Great GMing to fill those spots with hard hitters, and then even the late round values. Their last three picks I think are great values for 6th and 7th round, and I'm excited to see if they can make the roster and play a role.
Jacksonville Jaguars. Round 2, they picked tight end Nate Borkacher. Round 3, defensive tackle Albert Regis and guard Emmanuel Pregnon and safety Jalen Husky. Round 4, edge Wesley Williams. Round 5, tight end Tanner Koziel. Round 6, wide receiver Josh Cameron and wide receiver C.J. Williams. Round 7, edge Zach Durfee and linebacker Parker Hughes. And a notable UDFA, running back Jamari Taylor.
I'll start on this one just because they're Jaguars. GM James Gladstone is an idiot.
Yep, Jimmy. What can you do?
Yeah, Jimmy Stones.
Yeah,
in his first two drafts, he's just basically said F the consensus board. He takes big swings and strays far away from the consensus board as much as he can. 9 of his 10 draft picks were ranked outside of the top 248 on the consensus big board. So Borkercher, he's just a blocking tight end. He also has 38 receptions over his 6-year college career. I know blocking tight ends seem to get drafted high and paid respectably for some reason in free agency. I mean, think back to Tip Ryman, drafted at 82 in the 2024 draft. Crazy.
True.
Just stupid. I mean, Albert Regis, he was a sub 300-pound athletic defensive tackle who specializes in run defense. While most DTs this size specialize in like pass rushing, Regis is he lined up at nose tackle a lot. But he fought like hell. His play style is violent with swinging arms and grinding steps. But taking player number 272 and number 81 overall, I don't like it. And there's going to be a lot more that we don't like down here. So.
Yeah.
Pregnon, Carson, go ahead.
Yeah. This is, I like the player. He's like a sumo wrestler. He just plants his feet and you're not moving him. But this offensive line is pretty good. Pregnon is a guard through and through, and they have Ezra Cleveland and Patrick McCarry. So for now, it's a depth piece, but I think he's willing to be a starter, so I can't hate on that.
Yeah, Pregnon is actually the one player that James Gladstone drafted this year who's ranked inside the top 248 on the consensus board. He was number 40, and it was a steal to get him
inside. Wow. He was the one player inside 248.
The one player, yes.
And all 10 of their picks were inside 248.
Yes.
But he went 1 for 10.
Yes. Yeah. He went
All right.
Yes. He's a snow shovel in the run game.
This is really
just plowing
something
days.
amazing here.
Yeah, it's insane what he did here. So we don't have to spend too much more time on this draft class. I do want to talk about just real quick. Jalen Husky, 3-year starter, possesses good short area quickness to crash down on receivers. Maybe could see some play time if 32-year-old Eric Murray can instead used to be mid as hell. Wesley Williams out of Duke. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't mind the pick. Well, I do mind the pick, but I don't mind attacking that position because they currently have a lack of edge depth because it's just Trayvon Walker and Hines Allen there.
Yeah.
He can maybe immediately step in as their edge 3, which is kind of scary. He lacks athleticism, 3-year starter. He shoves and can move some offensive tackles with strong arms. He's a grinder. Tanner Koziol,
I know this guy.
Yeah, I actually didn't mind. He was my tight end 6. I don't hate the pick. He's a lot different than Borkircher. He's a unique weapon in the receiving game. He's 6'6.5", 247 pounds, 33 3/4-inch arms, just a 4.0% drop rate in his college career, 61.3% catch rate in contested situations over his college career. I've been underwhelmed by Bretton Strange throughout his career, so I understand the tight end reinforcements in this draft. And Koziol, I think, is, like I said, he's a unique weapon.
I scouted 16 tight ends, and Koziol was my 16.
Yeah.
No more to say. Good job, Jags.
Yes. Josh Cameron, some guy we actually like.
There we go, baby.
Go ahead, Carson.
Yeah, Josh Cameron. You might as well consider this a third tight end pick for this draft.
Yep.
This guy is thick. He plays the game kind of like Travis Kelce. He's always getting separation, but you don't know how because he's not a great athlete. He is listed a receiver, and he played receiver at Baylor. He was a great weapon for Sawyer Robertson, and I'm really curious how they're going to use him. He belongs in the slot. He's too slow to play outside. He needs to just be a strong, heavyweight bully in the slot to create separation. Think, the name's slipping me, Raiders.
Besh.
Yeah, think about like a bigger Jack Besh. But Parker Washington is in the slot, and we love him. And to me, it seems like more of a replacement for Brenton Strange. Like, you need to be creative with Josh Cameron. Get him set up in line. Get him set up in the wing. Whatever you got to do. He can be a receiving threat that can match up against linebackers and have a chance to even out-muscle him. So I'm actually excited for this pick. This is my favorite pick of their draft.
Oh, yeah. He actually runs routes. And also just one drop on 102 targets in 2025.
Yeah.
He cuts, though, at 223 pounds. He impressed me. There were things on his tape that it was like, damn, I didn't think that you would be able to move like that. And he did. So I like Josh Cameron a lot. He was mine and Carson's wide receiver 10 and actually our consensus wide receiver 10. So lost a lot of credibility there. They're 7th-round picks. Again, they're 7th-round picks, and they don't matter. But I just have to read the numbers here because
Please.
I was listening to, again, Trevor Sikkema and Connor Rogers. And they had no idea who these guys were.
It's awesome.
No idea.
Middle Tennessee State?
Because wide receiver C.J. Williams, he was ranked number 772 on the consensus board.
My.
Edge Zach Durfee, he was actually pretty high. He was ranked number 465. And then linebacker Parker Hughes was ranked number 630.
Jeez. You could probably draft a guy out of Australia that's ranked higher than these guys.
Yeah, probably. This team still needs more linebacker help behind Foye Oluokun, edge depth, and cornerback depth behind Travis Hunter, Monteric Brown, and Jordan Lewis. So when Gladstone is making these like out of left field project draft picks,
Hey, he ain't in left field. He's not even in the right city, brother.
yeah, he's really not. Yeah. I mean, it looks like he's taking raw players who have tools but need to develop, and it looks like he's okay with the weight. But the thing is that whenever he took over as the Jaguars GM 2 years ago, he inherited a good team.
Yep.
Last year, here it is. Last year, it was his first draft as a Jaguars GM.
Yeah.
He drafted 9 players. Travis Hunter was the only one to surpass 300 snaps played last year. 300 snaps is not allowed. That's less than 20 per game. So
I think we're going to see something similar here.
So Gladstone's 2025 draft class did little to nothing to help the Jaguars win the AFC South and finish 13-4 in the regular season. So he brought in he came into a good team, and he's added nothing to it.
Yep. A lot of depth.
Oh, sure, a lot of depth.
A lot of picks here.
And a lot of just names that don't turn into anything.
Yeah.
So
I wonder if Liam Cohen has a say in this.
I don't know, but I mean, if he keeps adding these pieces that are not helping him in this winning window that they have, James Gladstone is going to be the one to blame, and every person in the media is going to look back at James Gladstone's drafts and say, "I told you so."
Yeah.
So I gave them an F, and I don't think there can be any other grade for this.
Yep, you're right. I'm on board with you. I gave him an F.
That's an F for me too. It's got to be the worst draft class. There's no comparison. To say that we could. There's no way they could do worse.
Oh, yeah.
Congrats, Jets. You didn't do the worst.
You could put a kindergartner out there and he'd pick the highest person on the list, probably.
Yeah, literally just take
or a
best
name
player.
he'd like. Or you could put, how girls just pick the March Madness winner of the animal that would win in a fight or whatever.
Yeah.
They could just pick, Seth McGowan. That sounds like a cool name. I'll take him in the first round.
Yeah.
That'd probably be a better pick than this guy. Or they'd pick an Australian with a cool name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Albert, but they aren't going to pick an Albert in the third round.
No. Your name's Albert. You're going undrafted for sure. Albert Regis, come on.
Regis, is the last. Yeah.
Moving on. Yeah. Tennessee Titans, first round, they got wide receiver Carnell Tate and edge Keldrick Falk. In round 2, linebacker Anthony Hill Jr. Round 5, guard Fernando Carmona. Round 5, also running back Nicholas Singleton. Round 6, defensive tackle Jackie Marshall and Pat Coogan. And round 7, tight end Jaron Kanik.
This first-round pick in the fourth overall, Carnell Tate. Once again, we were at the draft. We were thinking here there's no way they pass up Arvell Reese. There's no way they do this, that. And then they come out with Carnell Tate.
Yeah.
Overall, I like the intent of getting your rookie quarterback some downfield threat that's proven he can do it, go up and get the ball. He's dominant. He can be a guy you can lean on when you're a young developing quarterback. But I don't like the draft capital used on it. I think you could have traded back and done this. I think there's other guys later in the draft you could have done this with. So overall, I like the intent, just not the carry outing of it.
Nice.
I agree with you, but they must have just really loved him, and they're like, hey, we really need this, and boy, did they really need it. So I agree. They probably could have done something like that, but maybe the Titans were actually being smart, and they're like, hey, we're not in a position to gamble. Like, let's just get our guy and pick him. And so I don't mind this at all. Carnell Tate's obviously awesome, and he's going to be I bet Cam Ward's very happy.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
And what Carson said, 4th overall for Carnell Tate might seem high when you look at it without context, but whenever you look at, I guess, the less high-end talent that came in this draft class, I like the pick for the Titans. Cody and I had him at wide receiver 1. I'm glad that Jeremiah Love was gone, so they didn't have to pick him, because I think they're going to be better because of that. And Carnell Tate will automatically be their wide receiver 1. I think he's polished, smooth route runner, specializing in the intermediate to deep areas of the field where Cam Ward loves to chuck it. So I'm fine with it. One of the funniest moments while we were at the draft in Pittsburgh was when the Titans traded back into the first round at number 31 overall to draft edge Keldrick Falk. Carson yelled out, "What? But he's ass!"
He's so ass!
Yeah, that's what it was.
The crowd was pretty quiet
Dead
at that moment.
quiet.
Yeah, because fans have been filing out since the Steelers draft pick at 21. Now, I don't think Falk is completely ass like Carson yelled. But I think he's just a stereotypical size, athleticism, age project at edge who has a lot to learn if he wants to become a good pass rusher in the NFL. What he does have going for him, though, is that he's already a great run defender. So it's not that he's nothing, but he didn't deserve to be a first-round pick.
Yeah, I was highest on him, I think, and yeah, I was. And I agree with you. I didn't view him as a first-round guy, but again, maybe the Titans are just trying to make a statement this year and be like, hey, this is the guy we like. We're going to go get him. But, yeah, interesting. But I think he does fill, obviously, a spot that they could use, which is edge rush, which nearly every team in the NFL could use this day and age of the NFL.
This is another pick that I like the intent, but I don't like the player that came with it. I like him trying to get edge here because Jeffrey Simmons is a one-man team in the pass rush.
Yeah.
But Keldrick Falk doesn't bring a pass rush. He brings a defensive end run-stopping ability, like Ian said. And there's a place for that, but I think it's too early at this point. Considering Katie McDonald is still there, I'd rather have Katie McDonald to do Keldrick Falk's job.
Yep.
Anthony Hill Jr., once again, it's another, I'd say it's a small upgrade. Cedric Gray last year way overperformed what anybody thought he was going to. He was a tackle machine. And then Anthony Hill Jr. is going to be in the middle, replacing Cody Barton, who is a guy that I think was fine and you could have went elsewhere with this pick. But overall, Anthony Hill's safe. I think that it makes your linebacker room a little younger, and then you have two young linebackers there to learn with each other in Cedric Gray and then Anthony Hill Jr. So overall, I don't hate it, but I think that you could use your pick elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he's fine. I was pretty hard on him in our top 5 linebackers in this class episode. I called him guacamole, and I said I don't like guacamole, and it's bland.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he's great at any one thing, and I don't think he has the upside to be great. I just think he's going to be a fine middle of the road linebacker in the NFL, which it's, you know what, it's fine. And at 60 overall, sure, whatever. Carmona, he was a 4-year starter, 3 years at left tackle, and then 2025 he played left guard. He plays pretty light on his feet, but he also carries a lot of weight in his upper half, so gets kind of tippy. He also seems like a reach because his consensus board ranking was 295. Singleton, though, he was my guy for me. Pure size, athleticism, big playability, really inconsistent at Penn State. Lost a lot of snaps to K'Tron Allen. But I do think that Singleton's explosiveness can be a nice addition to any NFL backfield, especially this Tennessee backfield that looks like there could be a changing of the guards soon.
Yeah, he has a clear path to playing time here. Tony Pollard's been on the way down for a while now, and then Tajay Spears was injured last year and didn't really show a whole lot. So being that the new Titans organization drafted Singleton gives me some hope that they're going to start phasing out the other backs and give Singleton a chance.
Yeah, they traded away T'Vondre Sweat, brought in Jordan Elliott, Solomon Thomas, and Jackie Marshall at D tackle. Marshall's another undersized, quick defensive tackle who's built like a Ninja Turtle. Very little fat on him. But he just doesn't play with a whole lot of energy, so I was pretty bummed. You look at him and you kind of hope and expect more from him, and you just didn't see it. The Cougar, Pat Cougar, he may have an actual chance at the starting job at center because Austin Schlottman is his main competition. He's never played more than 363 snaps in any of his first 7 NFL seasons.
Wow.
So what Coogan brings is like upper body strength. He can withstand rips from defenders and a really sturdy anchor in the run game to stonewall and then drive defensive tackles backwards. He played for Signetti, so that's big high praise for him.
Yep.
And then to cap it off, I do still think the biggest need on this team is pass rush. Despite the additions of John Franklin Myers, Jermaine Johnson II, Keldrick Falk, Jacob Martin, I just see no pass rushing needle mover on this D-line who can help take pressure off of Jeffrey Simmons. So, outside of Carnell Tate and Nick Singleton, I wasn't as high on these players, especially compared to when they drafted them, how high they drafted them. I think this draft class feels mid at best. I gave them a C-.
Okay, I'm going to go a little bit higher because I was higher on these guys than you guys were. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention Anthony Hill Jr. wasn't my guy for me. It may have slipped my mind. But I would give them a B-. I like the Carnell Tate move. Get yourself, funny enough, kind of an A.J. Brown style wide receiver. And I like Keldrick Falk and Anthony Hill Jr., 3-down style linebacker. I think he'll just be very, very solid and plug and play. And I like Nick Singleton, too. I like what he did at Penn State. I like his play style. I think he can give in an explosive change-up to that running back room there. So, yeah, B-.
I'm going D+. I think with the 4th overall pick, it's kind of hard to miss, and I like their intent, like I said. But I just don't really love the players. And if I was drafting for this team, I would have done it differently. I would have went a different direction. But they have names here, D+.
Moving to the AFC West, we're going to start with a team whose coach seems to draft like us every single year. We talk about the Denver Broncos. They did not have picks in the first 2 rounds, so we're going to start it off round 3. They got defensive tackle Tyler Onyedem. Did I say? Yeah, Onyedem, sure. Round 4, running back Jonah Coleman. Round 4, also offensive tackle Cage Casey. Round 5, tight end Justin Jolie. Round 7, safety Miles Scott. Tight end Dallin Bentley. And linebacker Red Murdoch. And a notable UDFA they got was linebacker Torian York.
I'll start on this because on Yedem, I know you guys didn't watch because he was ranked 145. I don't know if you went back and watched him, Carson. Yeah, 145 on the consensus board. Drafting him at 66 for your first pick of this draft is pretty rich. I couldn't agree with Sean Payton.
Yeah, that was
here.
a weird Sean Payton pick.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue the Broncos are playing with house money considering they're returning all of their starters on offense from their AFC Championship team last year, plus they added Jalen Waddle.
Yep.
I mean, Onyedem, he was a 3-year starter in college. He lined up literally all over the D-line. 292 pounds, 34 and an eighth-inch arms. He always shined more in run defense, which it's kind of curious as to why his pass rush win rate has never been higher than 8%, even whenever he played mostly at edge in 2023 and 2024. Cody, talk about Jonah Coleman.
Yeah, Jonah Coleman. Let me get to him. I'm on the wrong page.
Big boy.
Yeah, big running back, of course, my type of style. I think he should add, let's see who they even got anymore. I'm not even kept up with the Broncos running back. Still got J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey.
It's a shame.
And, yeah, so he's kind of buried there. But Jonah Coleman, I lost it. I found it.
Got $1 million there.
I got 17,000 of them.
Yeah.
Very quick type of running back. He has the downfield speed you want to. Strong base.
Yes.
I really like that. Really good, strong base. But his feet are still fast, too. So that's very nice to see. One of these guys, it's like a I wouldn't say a bulldozer. He's not that big, but kind of that idea. He just keeps churning and churning and churning through the line. I like his shiftiness, too. So he's got a lot of that. Just a lot of good stuff going for him, and he doesn't fumble very well. I like very, very few fumbles in college, and that's especially important to a guy like Sean Payton, who is not going to put up with that, and he can also catch the ball if you need him to also.
Yeah, it's a shame. I don't know what's going to go on here because, like you said, Cody, they already have J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey. They bring back Jaleel McLaughlin, who they seem to love for whatever reason.
It's a mess.
And now they bring in Jonah Coleman, who was a workhorse in college. He can do it. So I really don't know, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But Cage Casey, he was my overall offensive lineman 16. I believe he was Kean's 14, slightly higher. I think that this is obviously just a through and through depth piece. Their offensive line was already great last year, and then Cage Casey played tackle in college, but he's a guy that I would like to see him move into guard. His hips are a little tight. I think he could stay at tackle in a pinch if he has to. If someone goes down, they need him to just play a game or some snaps at tackle, he can do it. But he's just a good downhill blocker. He's strong. He can meter the pass rush as long as they're not too quick, and he finishes blocks. So I think that he'll be good for the run game as long as he's a guard.
Yeah, I also love his upper body strength. I think he's versatile. I think you can play. You could try him at offensive tackle, but I would also feel comfortable at interior line, like Carson said. Back to Jonah Coleman. Sean Payton loves messy backfields. Even going back to his early Saints days, remember the bell cow running back was the thing to do.
Yep.
So I don't think you should be too worried about R.J. Harvey. I think this is more of a long-term replacement for J.K. Dobbins because Dobbins signed a 2-year, $16 million deal with only $8 million guaranteed, so that's like 1 year guaranteed.
Yeah.
And then it's probably going to be both Harvey and Coleman. It's just going to be really, really messy this first year. Jolie, Carson's a lot higher on, so go ahead.
Yeah, I love Jolie. This is another guy that he's super good after the catch, and it's another pick that it's like they're bringing in something they already have because Evan Ingram plays that same role. He's
very well too.
Catches the ball, runs routes, and he's great after the catch. They already have Adam Troutman there to block and run routes if they have to. So I'm curious what they're going to do here because I could also see a world where you get creative with him and play him as like a huge slot. He's not very fast, but last year they showed that their receivers are decent. I mean, they have Pat Bryant, who's playing in the slot when he was healthy. He was pretty good. Troy Franklin is a speedster. Their outside's locked down. They played Lil Jordan Humphrey in the slot sometimes when they had to. But, Justin Jolie, he played in the slot in college and in line almost half the time in the slot. Great pass block grade, hand size, receiver-like routes. He can do it all. So it's going to be one to watch. Kind of like Kean said about phasing out J.K. Dobbins, this could be a phasing out of Evan Ingram as he is getting up there in age. So,
yeah, I mean, Sean Payton's always talking about that joker that he wants on his offense. I feel like he still hasn't really found it yet in Denver. He wanted Evan Ingram to be that guy. I mean, Jolie really is a unique player. Like Carson said, a lot like Evan Ingram. He had a 66.0% catch rate in contested opportunities, and then he also had 46 missed tackles forced over his college career. This guy could really be used as like an H-back with his unique play style. And then it's worth mentioning the other tight end they drafted, Dallin Bentley, because Sean Payton loves to use random tight ends like Nate Adkins and people like that. So,
Yep.
I mean, Bentley doesn't drop passes, just a 1.9% drop rate in his college career and 0 drops in 2025. But I don't think he's a smooth athlete or separator. I feel like most NFL linebackers can probably move better than he can. And then Red Murdoch is actually a Mr. Irrelevant who could get some playtime because the linebacker depth chart is Alex Singleton and Justin Strnad, and then a jumble of 2025 UDFAs who all played less than 24 snaps in 2025. And then UDFA Torian York is also there. But in Murdoch's past 2 seasons of starting at Buffalo, he racked up 298 total tackles in 2 seasons. 298 total tackles, 30 tackles for loss, 7 sacks, and 13 forced fumbles. He can't move laterally worth of beans, and he looks like his head is sewn to his shoulder pads, so he's got to like turn his whole body to turn.
That.
But if he gets a ball carrier lineup, this guy can hit like he feels no pain.
I think. Are you done on him?
No, I'm done on it. Yeah.
I think Torian York actually could be exciting too.
Yeah.
Hot motor. He's like a meatball.
Yes.
My comp for him was Buda Baker at linebacker. This guy comes downhill and he'll blow you up, and then in coverage as well. He's smooth and quick at 90.8 coverage grade, and with this guy that's so explosive and exciting at the linebacker position, I could see him working his way to playing time if Sean Payton falls in love with him. Because their linebackers right now are boring. Alex Singleton, Justin Strnad, and nobody else.
The jumble of UDFAs.
Yeah, so Torian York, I could see playing his guts out on special teams, people recognizing that he's blowing people up, and then getting some snaps as linebacker.
Absolutely. Overall, this Broncos depth chart does look really, really talented and deep from top to bottom. And this draft class might not have any immediate starters, but these guys are real good depth pieces, I feel like. And their first 4 selections have really good versatilities in their play style. So I like that. I gave it an overall just like a kind of middle of the road, maybe a little bit above average B.
I was going to give them a C+, kind of middle of the road too. I think with these picks they had, they did do a good job at adding valuable depth with the ability and possibility to really make a difference for the team in a good way.
I'm going to C+. Jonah Coleman is a little bit of a head scratcher, especially when Sean Payton seems to make any running back work.
Yeah.
But it's just my grades really dragged down by that first pick of theirs where they stretched for that defensive tackle where they could have got, I think, a lot more at pick 66.
Agreed. Kansas City Chiefs, first round. They got corner Mansour Delane and defensive tackle Peter Woods. Round 2, edge R. Mason Thomas. Round 4, cornerback Jaden Kennedy. Round 5, running back Emmett Johnson and wide receiver Cyrus Allen. Round 7, quarterback Garrett Nussmeier. And a notable UDFA is running back Jaden Ott.
Mansour Delane was all 3 of our corner ones.
Yeah.
And this pick is one that I think we predicted because it's pretty straightforward. They lose pretty much all 3 starting corners in free agency.
Yeah.
So they replace them with the best corner in the draft.
Traded up for him, right?
Yeah, trade up for him. There's not much more to say about this one. I think it's just great GMing and filling the immediate need.
Yep, agreed.
Amen. I mean, of course, the Chiefs got the best corner in the draft.
Of course.
And I bet Spagnuolo is really excited to work with him with the stickiness he plays with his coverage. I was much lower on Peter Woods than consensus. He was my D tackle 5 and number 61 on my big board. His poor season in 2025, it scares me. I saw a lack of effort and a lack of juice when Clemson was underperforming. And how do I know that that's not going to happen again when the going gets tough in the NFL? Because in the NFL, the tough gets going a lot.
A lot.
There's a lot of bad. I mean, maybe not necessarily on this Chiefs team. He might have lucked out there, but the effort thing really scares me.
Sure, yep.
I think landing beside Chris Jones could be exciting for him, though.
Yes.
If Chris Jones can maybe give him some energy, give him, work on his hands a little bit more because he is a super twitched up athlete. It's just he's got to work on that refinement there.
Mm-hmm.
Pick 40 is a guy that I really love in R. Mason Thomas out of Oklahoma. I comped him to his Oklahoma predecessor, Nick Bonito, just a little younger, a younger brother version of him. He just needs to work on his game a little bit, maybe put on some mass, but super quick, good hands, fast off the line, and that's exactly what the Chiefs need because right now they have the lumbering George Karlaftis and then Ashton Gelati across from him, so they need some speed guy in there to get around the edge, and R. Mason Thomas is exactly that, and I love the value of pick 40. I think that on my board, I liked him enough to maybe even look at him at the end of the first round. So,
yeah, I completely agree. I don't agree with him in the first round, but I love, like Carson said, that they added something different to the edge room. This is what I wanted the Bills to do. Mm-hmm. The difference that they're adding here is speed, bend, and craziness. I comped R. Mason Thomas to a crazy man who fights with nunchucks and makes hee-yaw sounds. He's just a really fun player and something that the Chiefs don't have, a different way to attack the quarterback, so it just makes sense. Jaden Kennedy, he provides some slot cornerback depth and possibly a starting option if Kader Kohu can't get back to the player he was before the ACL injury that kept him out of the entire 2025 season. He was a well-traveled 4-year starter. He spent time at Tulane, Ole Miss, and Oregon. Played slot corner, outside corner, free safety, box safety. He plays with some quick and choppy feet to turn and twist and scurry in any direction. He also loves contact. I do have concern about his over-aggressiveness, lightweight, and he missed 15.3% of his tackle attempts in his college career, but he's an exciting player to back up Kader Kohu if things go to shit.
Emmett Johnson, this is a little bit of a head-scratcher once again. In the 5th round, it's not that expensive, but they just brought in Kenneth Walker. They liked Brashard Smith last year in the pass game. So Emmett Johnson, we saw as a do-it-all, super fast through the whole running back that's way faster on film than he is in his underwear. So I think that he should have some playing time, but with his current Chiefs depth chart, I don't know if he's going to get that. I'm really curious what Andy Reid's vision for him is.
Well, being a my guy for me and also for Kian, I believe I think it may seem weird with Kenneth Walker, but being that he's such a do-it-all type of guy, I think that that's what they're going for. Like, Chiefs have really seemingly struggled with the running back position, really getting, like, an actual dude, like, that can really do it. So now that they have what I believe is 2 with Kenneth Walker and now Emmett Johnson, like, he literally just does it all. He's a pass catcher that's been there, done that. He's, like Carson said, he's very slippery through the line, and he's just fun to watch. Like, he's so fast, so powerful, and just runs so hard and angry. He's like the second coming but better of Isaiah Pacheco, in my opinion.
Now that I actually say it out loud, I think I see what Andy Reid's seeing here. K9 isn't a workhorse.
No.
And last year with Zach Charbonnet, it was way better for his health, so I think that that's kind of just like alleviating some stress off him, and then he can even work into a workhorse role if K9 needs more of a break. So.
Oh, it's a fantastic 1-2 punch they have going down there with Ken Walker and Emmett Johnson. That's awesome. This team, as Cody said, they haven't been able to run the ball since 2020 when they drafted Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the first round. I feel like that actually changes this year.
Yeah.
Emmett Johnson was our consensus running back 3. His 2025 production was absolutely crazy. Receiving game, running game. Mm-hmm. He plays with ferocity, like Cody said, and we can all agree that he was a steal in the 5th.
100%.
Big 10, too.
Yeah.
Big 10 player, yeah. I
really like Cyrus Allen. I think he's a sleeper in this class. My wide receiver 19, so that doesn't really say really like, but he didn't get invited to the combine. So I'm happy he got drafted, but he just plays with energized short steps to absolutely cook cornerbacks on short routes. He's just a depth piece right now, but look out for him in like the punt return game and stuff like that. Garrett Nussmeier was interesting how he fell. Carson, you want to talk about him?
Yeah. First of all, I think that it's very interesting. Their quarterback room is very interesting right now as well. They have both extremes. They have Justin Fields, who is a high upside, low floor, athletic quarterback who's going to work and get first downs with his legs. And then you have Garrett Nussmeier, who is a pure pocket passer, and he's just going to try to pick apart the defense, old school quarterback. So I'm curious what their thoughts are here. I wonder if they want Garrett Nussmeier to kind of learn from Mahomes, because Nussmeier showed some of that versatility where he can, drop the arm angle, he can get creative, no look passes, all that stuff. His just limited upside, and I wonder if this is seeing if he can learn from Mahomes, then just serve as I think my comp for Garrett Nussmeier was your typical lifelong backup quarterback who, when he comes in the game, he gets the job done, but he's not going to be anything more. So, that's how I see Garrett Nussmeier. I think he was dealing with some injuries last year as well.
Yeah.
So
I liked him more than you guys. I had him as my 3. That might be a very hot take, but
it's a bad class.
It's not as bad as Drew Aller, too, though.
What I liked about Nussmeier, I think you're 100% correct. He's very Mahomey a little bit. He's got a lot of that kind of same-ish play style. I think he may even have a little bit more of an arm. He's just got enough of an arm that he's flick of the wrist right now, and the ball is going downfield deep. And I think he plays bigger than he is too already in the pocket. And he's fairly accurate. So, yeah, I think that he's Mahomes-esque. So I think they are probably hoping that, hey, let's get 2 similar guys in here just
in case.
Just like any good organization does, like Lamar and Snoop Huntley. It's if we need a guy, he can run nearly the same offense or a similar offense if we need him in a pinch.
Yeah, he's a facilitator. He's not going to make many mistakes. I agree with Carson. I think his ceiling is limited.
Sure. Yeah.
But it is interesting what happened here, because there were rumors before the draft about some NFL teams loving him.
Yeah.
Turned out to be a lot of smoke because he dropped to the 7th round. Insiders believe that the main reason was because during his medical exam at the Combine, the doctors found a cyst on his spine that was pinching a nerve and caused him pain in his oblique muscle, which is the one on your side here for the 2025 season. It's not causing him pain now.
Allegedly,
yeah. And it's a rare condition, so maybe NFL teams are scared of any unknown long-term effects that could ail him, because he didn't get surgery to get it removed. It's just it's not hurting anymore, so I'm good. It's
hey, Matt Stafford had back pain before his one of his best seasons.
You're right.
Sure. Do you really think that Garrett Nussmeier's Matt Stafford level?
No.
Not yet.
First overall. He probably doesn't sleep on Tempur-Pedic. So.
You're right.
That's true. That's a good point.
He needs one, yeah. He needs to call Matt Stafford.
Yeah. I mean, overall, I would have liked more O-line depth behind the minimally experienced left guard Kingsley Suamataia and right tackle Jalen Moore. But I think that GM Brett Veach put together another great draft class from top to bottom.
Again,
I gave it an A-.
Solid. I'm right there with you. I agree. I think that Brett Veach did it again. I liked a lot of these picks except for the offensive line, like you're saying. But, yeah, A- for me, too.
I'm going to give, once again, another A. I think that they just straight up addressed every need they had, and they brought in exciting players that I really like. So, A for the Chiefs.
Las Vegas Raiders. First overall, quarterback Fernando Mendoza, obviously. Round 2, they got safety Traden Stukes. Round 3, they got edge Kieron Crawford and center Trey Zune III. Round 4, corner Jermod McCoy and running back Mike Washington Jr. Round 5, safety Dalton Johnson and corner Hezekiah Masses. And round 6, they got wide receiver Malik Benson. Round 7, defensive tackle Brandon Cleveland. And a notable UDFA they got was running back Roman Hemby.
Fernando Mendoza was the no-brainer here. Bring him in. He's going to be your starting quarterback day one. He brings your old-school quarterback feel. He has a upgraded offensive line to work with now. He's got...
Yeah.
He doesn't have many weapons. I thought his weapons were better than they were.
Big gripe.
Who did they lose? He did have more weapons than this last year.
Well, they traded away Jacoby Myers at the end of last year.
That would be it.
Yep.
That's it.
Okay, he doesn't have many weapons.
The boy Jack Besh is in the starting line, though.
Yeah, but he also didn't have many high-rated weapons coming into Indiana, so... I'm excited for the guy nonetheless, and he can learn behind Kirk. Learn ahead of Kirk, actually, hopefully.
Who knows?
Who knows? I've heard that they might sit him for Kirk. So,
yeah, this obviously a can't miss. I mean, you're bringing in a guy that already operates seemingly as a professional. So hopefully
got that LinkedIn.
He does. I like the pick, and I like Mendoza a lot. And
my guy for you.
Yeah, I think he'll bring a very needed steadiness, like surefire quarterback to the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, in my time of watching football, I've seen just one Raiders quarterback that was even average, and that was Derek Carr.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see how Fournette.
What a run that was.
Yeah, honestly, Derek Carr was. Man, he was pretty average.
He was on MVP level for a little bit there.
He had some spurts. Yeah.
Yeah.
So honestly, I'm excited to see how Fernando Mendoza's career pans out because there are a lot of things working in Mendoza's favor. Not the wide receiver room, but hopefully this is going to bring out the best in him. The fact that they brought in Kirk Cousins, who is honestly like just like him.
Very. Yeah.
Brought in Dementor Mendoza, and ideally maybe start for a while is what they're hoping for.
That's fine.
Also, Clint Kubiak brings in a Shanahan-style run-first offense to give the quarterback easy reads and play-action fakes. And then also, Tom Brady has allegedly been involved in this whole process of bringing Mendoza to Las Vegas. So maybe he's going to have his fingerprints on Mendoza's development. So
he's got his fingerprints on the receiver room.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bring in a Wes Welker and a Julian Edelman.
Yeah, he does. I love trading Stukes, though. He was my guy for me. Hopefully he can be a difference maker at the slot corner position. There are some of the best defenders in the league have been at slot corners, especially like as of lately. Guys like Kyle Hamilton and Cooper DeJean, these guys who play big impacts or make big impacts in games. I don't necessarily think Stukes is that level yet, but I think he is just an awesome, long, fast, physical play style of guy who can actually maybe get to that. I comped him to Kalen Bullock.
I agree. That's pretty good. And I think this corner room is abysmal. I mean, last year we were ripping on it, and it was just as bad this year. Darian Porter, Eric Stokes, even though he was good, I guess, last year.
Yeah, he was fine. He got extended.
Yeah, that's surprising. So then in the third round, they take Kayron Crawford, edge out of Auburn. This is, once again, another guy that I'm not really huge on. He was my edge 14, Kian's edge 14 as well. Yeah, he went to Auburn. He played across from Keldrick Folk.
Yep.
And this guy was kind of the opposite end of the spectrum. He's a stand-up edge. He played some off-ball linebacker. He has good moves, good pop. He's bursty off the line. Mostly strictly a pass rusher, not really a run stopper. Said is going to be interesting for this Raiders defense. Max Crosby's there. Obviously, he's going to be dominant. But across from him is Kwity Paye and not really much else. So I could see him playing in the rotation.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's at his best whenever he can play with momentum. If an offensive tackle really gets into his pads, the rep is over. But this guy, he moves really well, like around the outside shoulder of the offensive tackle, or he can cut back inside. Sometimes he can turn speed to power, but not really his game. He's my player number 125 on my big board, so I wasn't a fan of him at number 67. I also wasn't a fan of Trey Zune because I think he plays very upright, lacks a good forward drive. He played mostly left tackle at Texas A&M. And the Raiders announced him as a center, so I think that move makes sense. I think he'll be better there, but it's just he'll just be death behind Linderbaum.
Yeah.
Cody, tell us about Jermon McCoy.
Jermon McCoy, man, you got me on the spot.
Sorry,
again.
man. I keep putting you on the spot.
You're good. I just need to get on my game a little bit better. Jermon McCoy, one of the corners that seemingly kept falling, and we were confused the whole draft, but I think he landed in a solid spot. Super athletic corner, very strong and powerful legs too, and just does all the corner stuff you want. I mean, you could list it off. Quick feet, yep. Smooth hips, He's got the patience to watch the receiver ahead of him.
He's got the speed.
He does have speed, very much speed. What I liked most about him, or maybe not most, but one of the best things about him is his patience. He's the type of corner that will watch and assess and really figure out what the receiver's going to do before he opens his hips. He doesn't do it prematurely. And he can also smother the catch point. I think he'll be a super solid addition to this corner room with Stokes, and I don't know. I guess I don't know if he'll play. I don't know where you guys think, but Darian Porter and Stokes. Yeah, he should be a starter. So I like him a lot, but I guess the big knock on him, I guess probably why he fell was because of his injury, tore his ACL, and missed his third season, and he can get grabby sometimes, but sometimes that's good to have a little aggression in being a corner. So
yeah, to bring in a day one starter in the fourth round, my corner 2 is glorious. Now he's not very sticky. but he is long and he's super athletic, and he's kind of like what I see as what we wanted Darian Porter to become.
True.
With the length and athleticism. Now Darian Porter has higher upside, and based off last season, he's gonna need some more time to get there. But yeah, I think Jermon McCoy is at least the guy that's gonna be serviceable here in the secondary. Then they bring in a running back, Mike Washington Jr. This guy was a guy that, after the combine, he ran a 4.33, was it?
Yep.
He was flying up draft boards. We didn't love him in the scouting department. Kian had him
like 16 or something.
16. Cody was a little higher at 7, and then I had him 14. He's a big body running back, like Cody likes.
Sure.
And he's also capable of catching the ball. He is a workhorse. He was a workhorse at Arkansas, but he's not going to do that here. He's probably going to play a alleviate Ashton Genty role, and I think he'll be good for that.
Yeah, he is kind of a change up from Ashton Genty, and I liked him because of that speed. Obviously, he was a very natural pass catcher when he did catch the ball. He knows how to follow his blockers well. He does that real good. Obviously, a workhorse type of back. I like his combination of size and speed. Obviously, now along with what you guys said about not liking him, but my biggest thing was for his size, he's big body running back. I didn't like his tackle breaking ability. I just think it wasn't there.
I agree, and it was aggravating to watch because he was so fast and he ran into dudes so hard, and he just did not stay up. Yeah. His contact balance just wasn't there. He also lacks some lateral agility. Yeah, he's really just a north to south speed guy. So I like him in a change of pace role where you can keep him explosive, maybe hit a big play every once in a while.
Yeah.
Dalton Johnson is another Arizona defensive back who he honestly could compete for a starting safety job with how much Isaiah Pola-Mao has struggled in each of his past 2 seasons as a Raiders starter. Dalton Johnson really reminded me a lot of Kamari Ramsey, a guy who plays a lot of different jobs. Really, ceiling is limited, definitely, but he could be a starter on this bad Raiders defense. Carson, you watched Ezekiel Massis. What do you think about him?
Was he the long, super athletic project?
Yeah, out of Cal.
Yeah. Once again, it's like a small school. So you never really played great competition, so it's kind of harder to scout these guys. But once the ball's in the air, he's a ball hawk. Reads the quarterback's eyes, jumps the ball, great at jumping routes, is fast, strong. Overall, just a playmaker, and you love to have that in the secondary. But what I don't like about him, slow hips, slow transitions, sometimes off balance, gets grabby. So it's like the upside's definitely there, but you have to kind of take the good with the bad with him, and that's what you get in the 5th round with a corner. So the Raiders just seem to love like these playmaking corners.
It's their 3rd corner they drafted in 2026.
Yeah, and I don't know.
I don't hate it.
Yeah, I don't know what role he's gonna play. With his play style, I could see him playing safety, but I think he's better off sticking at corner. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, the cornerback room is wide open, and his ball skills are definitely what stuck out. 5 interceptions and 13 pass deflections in 2025. The one wide receiver they did bring in was Malik Benson out of Oregon, ranked number 403 on the consensus big board, drafted at 195. So Malik Benson, I enjoyed watching him casually this year because it was fun to watch him get behind defenses because he was Oregon's most successful deep hitter in 2025, where it was like on posts, goes, deep crossers, stop and goes. This guy was getting deep and winning. And honestly, I don't know. Who knows? He could have a role because this wide receiver room is wide open. Trey Tucker is also a speed guy who can get deep, but he's now wide receiver 1, and he's probably going to have to play in a bunch of roles, running a bunch of routes. And Dante Thornton from last year's draft is like a tall speed guy. He wasn't drafted by this regime, so who knows? Yeah. And then also Brandon Cleveland might even have a shot at playing time at D-tackle with how bad the Raiders D-tackles were in 2025. So there are 3 defensive tackles with the most snaps in 2025, which was Jonah Laiolu, Adam Butler, and Thomas Booker the 4th, finished 2025 with overall defensive grades of 40.9, 53.8, and 45.5. And Adam Butler's grade of 53.8 was actually the highest among all 6 of their defensive tackles on the roster, but was 75th among all D tackles who played at least 300 snaps in 2025. So Brandon Cleveland he brings in weight and strength to hold the line and run defense. And while he's not a lateral mover or quick defensive tackle, his upper body is strong and angry to rip at offensive linemen, mostly on run plays. But I mean, I and many other analysts can't believe the Raiders didn't draft a wide receiver or D tackle earlier with the state of those rooms right now. But I do think the Raiders added a lot of players to their team who are going to play early. I mean, now does that speak more to the weak roster of the Raiders or the level of players they brought in? I think it's a combo of both. I mean, there's some slam dunks. Like Mendoza, Stukes, and McCoy at where they drafted him, I think slam dunks. And some players I believe to be big reaches who are probably just going to be replaced after a few years, like Crawford, Zune, and Benson. But, I mean, overall, I settled on a B+ because they did add a lot, and this team is looking a lot better than they did last year.
I am going to give them... Oh, how high do I want to go? I'm going to go with a B plus as well. I'll give him a B plus. I love the Mendoza pick. I mean, who doesn't? It's not crazy to say, but along with what you said, I like them bringing Mike Washington Jr. also. I think that's a solid guy to bring in to kind of spell Ashton Genty a little bit.
I am going to give them just an even B to bring in to reinforce this pretty bad corner room with two great corners. My corner 2 and my corner 6. I love that, but like Kian said, I want them to bring in some kind of weapon, anybody other than Malika Benson, to not anybody actually, but a higher end receiver with all these draft picks to help support your young quarterback or a tackle. They gave him no support in this draft class whatsoever, so I would like to see something there, but with what they did, I like.
Wrapping it up with the Los Angeles Chargers. Round 1, they brought in edge Akeem Mesidor. Round 2, center Jake Slaughter. Round 4, wide receiver Brendan Thompson. And also offensive tackle Travis Burke and safety Genesis Smith. Round 5, defensive tackle Nick Barrett. Round 6, guard Logan Taylor and guard Alex Harkey. And a notable UDFA they brought in was offensive tackle Isaiah World.
At pick 22, they got Keenan and I's edge 3 and Cody's edge 4. This guy has an onslaught of moves. He's so versatile. Keeps you on your toes. Canadian. Cody likes him for the maple syrup.
Yep.
He's nuanced.
Yeah, very nuanced. He is an older he's an older edge, but you can see that in his maturity and all the moves he brings. He's not going to be super exciting, but he's just he's going to get to the quarterback, and you can't knock him for that. And the Chargers desperately need a guy that's just going to give you some consistent pass rush because this secondary has been struggling because the opposing quarterback just has forever to throw. They have the ghost of Khalil Mack rushing and Tui Pelotu rushing on the other side. There's not a lot to work with there, so Akeem Mesidor is going to slot in as their best pass rusher right away.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I guess one of the bigger negatives is he'll be 25 years old as a rookie, which I personally don't care. This dude's got a big motor, powered by maple syrup. Just really good, very good instincts, very good recognition also. Carson said it all really well. And he's not a guy to go out and try to be a hero, which leads into my last point I like is he's already well coached. He's one of these guys from Miami that was coached by Jason Taylor. I'm sure that Harbaugh loves that already, and Harbaugh's only going to add to it. So, yeah, a lot to love here with Akeem Mesidor, especially at pick 22 for LA.
This pick actually got some backlash from Chargers fans and some analysts because obviously they badly needed interior offensive line after their entire offensive line greatly struggled in 2025. So, I mean, luckily, left tackle Rashawn Slater and right tackle Joe Alt will be back from injury for 2026, but those 3 interior offensive linemen who put up PFF grades of 56.5, 49.8, and 37.1, those were their starters.
Yeah.
That was Zion Johnson, Bradley Bozeman, and Mekhi Becton, and they got rid of all 3 of them. So, I mean, obviously you would have loved to get Vega Ioane at 22, but he went to 14. And all the other offensive linemen who were projected to be good on the interior were either gone or they would have been major reaches at 22. So, I mean, they looked around their roster, settled on edge, and I absolutely love the pick. You guys laid out everything. Akeem Mesidor is he's a my guy for me. I called him a sensei of karate. He's just awesome.
Yep.
Khalil Mack has debated retirement each of the past 2 seasons, so he's likely done after 2026, and that would have left you with Tuli Pelotu and Kyle Kennard as the only noteworthy edges you have under contract for 2027, and that's assuming that Tuli Pelotu gets a contract extension. So Mesidor is a great pick in my opinion, and I don't think it should be slandered in any kind of way. Speaking of slaughter, Jake Slaughter was the second round guy. This is where they addressed the interior O-line. I was pretty lukewarm on him. He was my offensive lineman 17. Carson, where did you have Slaughter? You had him lower, I think.
I had him at 19.
19, okay. Yeah, so slightly lower. I mean, he was in the second round, and available at this pick were guys like Pregnon, Jennings Dunker, Connor Liu, Sam Hecht. I mean, I'll give it to Slaughter. I think he's got a crazy anchor and balance for a 303-pound offensive lineman, but it just doesn't make sense how he gets ripped at and contorts his body to keep his feet planted and hold his ground out. It's pretty impressive, but I would have rather had quite a few other guys to address the interior O-line.
Yeah, I said that Jake Slaughter has all the technique, experience, and smarts to play the position. He's just lacking athletically. He doesn't have the size to really set the anchor and strength to hold up. But the Chargers, I'm sure, saw something they like. And I'm sure what they saw in Brennan Thompson was what everybody else saw. After Brennan Thompson ran a 4.26 at the Combine, he shot up draft boards. But there's some big concerns here. He's 5'9", 164, and his 10-yard split was only 154, which is insanely slow for a 4.26.
Back-end runner.
Yeah, there's guys in the 1.4s in the 10-yard split that are running 4.4. So this guy's not very shifty. He has much more long speed than he does short area quickness, and that bothers me because if you don't have the quickness to get off press and you don't have the strength and size to get off press, then you're just kind of hung out for dry there. And because of his size also, I don't know if he's going to be able to play on the outside. And Ladd McConkey has the slot locked down, so I like you drafting a receiver, but I would like you to draft a different style than this.
I'm excited about this pick. Mainly, well, I mean, he was my wide receiver 15, so I don't hate the player at all. I think the speed really does show up on film. This guy bobs and weaves down the field. He makes pulling away from defenders look easy. So, I mean, if you have a chance to draft that speed, most likely Mike McDaniel is going to draft that speed. So here's Mike McDaniel's quotes in the Chargers war room whenever this whole thing was going on.
Here we go.
He said, quote, "In this whole formula, if you can find a way to get Brennan Thompson, I will take my shirt off in here, on the record."
What's this guy talking about?
And your next quote.
He's on them good cookies.
"If you're not fired up about this pick, you're dead." Next quote. This is him on the phone with Brennan Thompson to tell him he's getting drafted by the Chargers.
Oh, boy.
"I'm so excited to see you. I see your passion in your eyes. This is the first day of the rest of your life. Let's go. Look at that powder blue. Yeah, you're going to do elite stuff. Just start running right now. No, now go party. Take your shirt off, all right?"
Wow, that was inspirational.
This guy loves speed.
I love it.
There's nothing more that he likes than speed.
Oh, yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, I comped Brennan Thompson to Benny the Jet Rodriguez running away from the dog Goliath at the end of the season.
Okay, yeah, we like that.
Random cuts down alleys, knocking stuff over behind him, jumping off at things, doing whatever he can to get away from that dog, and it mostly worked. And that's kind of what I saw in Brennan Thompson's film. I love the whole story behind this guy. It's hilarious. Mike McDaniel. I love that he's still in the NFL.
It's probably going to be exciting, yeah.
Yeah,
because he knows how to use speed. So
he does know how to use speed.
Speed.
I mean, Travis Burke is one of the biggest players in this class. He's 6'8" and 3/4. 325 pounds, 34.25-inch arms. He was a 4-year college starter. He, as you would expect, he cannot move laterally worth of beans. But he does just have legit strength and an anchor to manhandle defenders if he can get his hands on them. Again, it's just more O-line depth. And then the Chargers drafted 2 more interior offensive linemen in round 6. So they're learning their lesson from how they struggled so badly last year. And then And then I also really liked Genesis Smith. He was my safety 5 because I love his upside. Smooth striding, long speed, allows him to run with receivers down the field. He's got really great range to play center field. And, I mean, he missed 20.1% of his tackles over his college career, and he lacks strength with his lanky build. But I'm really excited to see what he can do whenever he gets to work with this new Chargers DC, Chris O'Leary, because if you watched our Coaching Hires episode from February, you would know that Chris O'Leary oversaw the rise of Chargers safeties Tony Jefferson, Elijah Molden, and Marcus May to earn PFF overall defensive grades over 72.8 in 2024. And then at Western Michigan in 2025, the college, his safeties got 7 interceptions altogether. This guy should carry on the great secondary that Minter started in L.A. So I know Carson was lower on Genesis Smith.
I had him at 9, but I do think that he's very instinctive in center field, so that could be exciting.
Yeah, and then finally, Nick Barrett. Ideally, he won't play many snaps in 2025 because I think they put together a really good defensive interior with Tyre Tart, Dalvin Tomlinson, Jamari Caldwell, but Barrett's another run-stopping nose tackle. He carries 312 pounds very well, and he plays with some juice and aggression, more than I expected. So to round it out, from top to bottom of this depth chart, this Chargers team has been built so well. I mean, I know there's hope for the Chargers going into every single year with Justin Herbert at the helm, with fans thinking, maybe this is our year. But this draft class added a lot of depth, especially in the trenches, which I know Cody loves.
Love it.
And it's important for the best teams to make long playoff runs with a lot of depth in the trenches. So, I mean, overall, I gave it a B. And I think they should feel pretty good about it. But, yeah, there's some questionable picks with concern, like a Brennan Thompson, like Carson was talking about.
Yeah, like Keane said about the trenches, that's how Harbaugh is too. I mean, just build it from the trenches, and you're set up for success pretty well. I give them a B-, just maybe because I'm not as big on like a Brennan Thompson. I don't know where he's gonna. They'll find work for him. McDaniel will find work for him, but I just don't know where yet. I don't know. We'll see. But I like Hakeem Mesidor. So, yeah, I think B-.
I'm actually going to go C- here. I like Hakeem Mesidor. And after that, I think Jake Slaughter's a reach. Brennan Thompson, like I said, I would like to go a different direction. And then after that, I think there's some reaches. So, yeah. C-.
All right. That wraps up our AFC. Yeah, all AFC draft grades. So thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it. We'll be coming out with an NFC one as well, obviously. So thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.